Raise your hand if you have, not just this year, but at some point set a resolution or said you wanted to do something in the year. You want to do something, you want to be something different. Got it? So if we look at what those actually are, Time Magazine did an article just recently about the top 10 resolutions people make that they won't be able to keep, by the way, which was very disheartening. Anybody ever been discouraged about your resolution? Anybody? By the way, I pastored a church for 3.5 years. God might actually strike the building with lightning. You might want to be truthful. But the point is, we've set resolutions and they've gone awry, right? What are the top ones? Number 1 on the list every year is, I want to lose weight and get fit. Second to that is, I want to quit smoking. And then down the line it gets into, I want to be less stressed, spend more time with family, travel to new places, learn something new, and et cetera, et cetera. But why is it that losing weight and getting fit is number 1 every year? Anybody? Come on. Because we all fail. Yeah, okay. That's so encouraging, Dr. David. So that's part of it. But watch this. Here's the reason. It's always number 1 every single year. It's because losing weight and getting fit is inclusive of all the stuff that you want, isn't it? Like you just feel better about yourself. You're more confident. Your clothes feel looser and more the way they should be. Can I get any amens for that? Amen. By the way, I'm going to call for response. If I get an amen or a hallelujah at any point, someone just want to say, thank you, Jesus, is okay. Okay? But so that's all includes. It's kind of like Jerry Maguire and the Quan. It's like it's the Quan. It's everything. It's the Quan. That's why we like that. The problem with it is, so many of us every single year, whether we said it out loud to anybody else. In fact, raise your hand if you purposely did not set a resolution this year. Come on. And I can tell you why, because guess what? Would anybody like to feel disappointed again, right? What you do emotionally, mentally, and we've done a lot of cognitive psychology studies, is you actually go the other way, because why would I want to make myself feel bad again this year, right? Anybody? And so it's what we want, okay? We want to lose weight, get fit, eat healthier, eat more nutritiously, exercise more. But here's the thing. Why is it that we get stopped? What's the barriers? And so here's what's going to happen today. I'm going to go through the top 5 psychological barriers. That's exactly right. Top 5 psychological barriers that keep you guys from reaching what you want. We can call them resolutions or healthy habits or goals or whatever you want to call it. But there are actually 5 major obstacles and barriers that keep you from that. I'm going to go through that right now. Okay? So I want you to take notes. If you don't take notes, then expect to hit that again and not get to where you want to go. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you the top 5, and then I'm going to give you a method in writing goals, and then I'm literally going to have you write long-term and short-term goals today. Now watch this. Raise your hand if I told you before you came to this seminar that we're going to write long-term and short-term goals. Raise your hand. Everybody look around. So there's like 3 of you. There's a reason for that. Do you know why? If I told you that you're going to a seminar to write long-term and short-term goals, guess what? Most of you guys are like, I've really got something going on that Saturday. It's a busy time for me. There's a soccer game. I've got to go grocery shopping. But here's the thing. It's not sexy, but I can tell you what? If you want sexy, do the work. And so we're going to do a little work today. Raise your hand if you're committed to doing some work and digging deep in here today. That's all I need. So you guys ready? Now, let me be Debbie Downer. It's funny, I get tired or upset, and I kind of let my guard down a little bit with my kids or my wife sometimes, and my kids actually call me out. My daughter, Zoe, goes, Debbie Downer's here again. So I have to be Debbie Downer for a second, and I promise this is the last time today. Okay, can I do that? But if you don't get this, there's just a stark reality. And I believe in speaking life. I don't want to speak death over you, but I believe in speaking truth over you. Can I just do that for a minute? The truth is, guys, some of you in this room, a lot of you in this room, this may be the last time that you actually truly get a chance to stop the direction that you're headed and go back the other way. And after 31,000 people in one of the largest healthcare clinics in the world and seeing more people than every doctor you've ever seen combined, I can tell you something that's an absolute. The stats they're not even just not good, they're absolutely nightmarish. Everybody thinks it's not going to be them. Everybody. All of you. Even though you know the stats. Right now, it's 1 out of 2 men, 1 out of 3 women are going to develop cancer. And by the way, it's almost the same thing for heart disease. For all of you guys that keep going the way the world is and don't get cancer, you get heart disease. If you don't get that, it's diabetes or Alzheimer's or whatever. Everybody with me? And here's my point. You live in the sickest country on the face of planet Earth where people don't go to the bathroom outside. Which means if you do what everybody else does, then you're going to get what everybody else what? Gets. And that is an absolute scientific fact. And what that means is if you don't change now, There is a diagnosis that's going to come to your house and knock on your front door that you do not want to come in your house, and it's going to come in anyway. And it's going to ignite a bomb in your life that you don't want. And I'm telling you, it's a big reason. I believe in leading people not with fear, but in hope. But you need to understand that there is a price to pay if we don't change. Does it make sense? There's your State of the Union, and I'm going to encourage you for the rest of the day. But I also want to make sure that you guys see that all you have to do is some little baby steps, and you can walk right by all of that and not have to have that. By the way, you can brag on that move later. But the point is, what's stopping you? So here's the 5 things. Ready to take notes? Here we go. First barrier to reaching your health habits and your goals is we aim too high. I believe in shooting for the stars. I have big, hairy, audacious goals with my wife. But guess what I also have? I also have some very reachable goals as well. So instead of reaching up so high we can't grab something all the time, what you need to do is grab right in front of you. And if all I do is reach out and grab right in front of me, I can grab it and what? Move forward a little bit. And I grab it forward again and I do this. Got it? I would rather you be doing this and have some stuff way up high than just doing this all day long, right? And I'll get into why that is here in a second, but we aim too high. What ends up happening is the fuel source inside of you that makes you have, quote, willpower. And by the way, willpower is a deception. Does everybody know there's no such thing as willpower? There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Actually, watch this. Let me tell you what willpower is. I'm going to ask one person in this room, if you could go get me a 100-gallon water Blvd right now, if you could get it to me by the end of the day, I'll give you $50,000 cash. Anybody want to take that? Here's the thing. Some of you guys don't know what a water Blvd is, but for $50,000, you will figure it out, right? And I don't know where they sell them, but I'll go get it. Am I right? Because watch this. Willpower is partly just an absolute out and outright desire for what you want. That's willpower. Does everybody? It's desire. The other thing it's an ingredient that's biblical called hope. It's a positive expectation for the future. When you were 4 years old and you woke up one time in the wintertime, one specific day in the wintertime, you woke up and you were excited and you knew it was going to be a great day and you didn't know why yet until you realized what day it was. What day was it? Christmas. But before you even realized it was Christmas, you were like, I don't even know, it's going to be awesome. And you're like, oh yeah, it's Christmas, right? You had a positive expectation. Some of you guys left that behind when you were 4, and I want you to be excited like that for your life. Got it? For your marriage, for your physicality, for your future, to turn things around, to get off of medications, to feel great again. Who wants that? Anybody? Amen. So we set them too high. Number 2, we do not know what to do with setbacks. Okay, so watch this. So some of the things coming up, you're going to set a goal, something, maybe it's like I'm going to walk every day for 30 minutes. Well, guess what's going to happen at some point in time in your goal to walk 30 minutes every day? You're going to have a day where you cannot fit it in. And if you don't have a plan B, when you don't get a plan A, guess what happens? You fall apart and guess who your worst critic is? Raise your hand if you're your worst critic. Again, some of you guys are writing. It's the only reason you didn't raise your hand, so I'm not saying anything. But guess what? You are. And what ends up happening is if you don't have a plan B, then you feel guilty. You're like, here it comes again. See, I knew it. It's not going to happen again. And you fall apart, and then you just turn loose of all your goals, all your direction, all your momentum, everything. All your investments gone. But if you have a plan B, so watch this. I'm going to walk 30 minutes, and now I can't. I don't have time, but maybe you have time to walk 15 minutes, right? Dr. Kimberly and I, right now, we're doing something we called, we kind of nicknamed it No Days Off. And I don't know what a hashtag is necessarily. No missed days. Hashtag no missed days. What day are we on? 46. Day 46 of no missed days. So for the whole year, this year, we're going to work out, do some kind of workout every single day for the whole year. Okay? Now watch this. I would rather work out or go for a run or whatever else, but there's some days, like yesterday, up at 3:59, went to bed at after midnight. Right? Guess what happened? Didn't get an official workout in. So guess what? Just like it was a setback, so I had to figure out something else to do. So I took time away from getting this ready and redoing all the PowerPoint to do push-ups and air squats. And I did I did a bunch of them, okay? And I was a little bit sweaty and it was good. Was it as good as a regular workout at the CrossFit gym or for a run? Not necessarily, but guess what? Was it still a workout? Yes, and guess what it made me feel like? I'm good, I'm sticking to it, I'm still on track. Do you guys see that? That's why we need a plan. Absolutely need a plan. And listen, this is one of the most important ones. You better write this down. You should write it on your forehead. You should write it on your forearm. Get a tattoo. Not really. But just, it's important. Got it? Number 3, we lose motivation. Motivation is absolutely critical, and motivation is a mindset. Motivation is also very personal. Okay? It comes from a couple things. It comes from the value that you perceive that you're going to get as a reward, right? Now think about this for a second. What's it going to feel like when you've lost the weight? Whether it's 10 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever it is, what's it going to feel like? What do your clothes feel like? How much more energy do you have? How much more confidence, right? You see that? Can you taste that a little bit? Like, literally, it's just like, yeah. I mean, you with me, right? So it comes from value. It also comes from your belief to be able to do it. And here, we got to stoke that belief. But also the third ingredient is hope, right? Hope is built by our successes along the way. And I'll get into that here as we go. But we lose motivation. Dr. Carol Dweck, actually, she's a psychologist. She said there's two mindsets. Everybody say two? Say two? There's two mindsets. One is fixed, one is growth. Fixed mindset says this, I'm just too old, or I'm not a morning person. Raise your hand if you're one of those, I'm not a morning people. Yeah, I'm one of your people. Right? So I'm with you. Guess what? I may not be a morning person, but I've changed that, and you can too. But watch this. A fixed mindset says, I'm this way. And that's it. I'm fixed. A growth mindset says, hey, I learned quickly. I'm going to figure this out. I can change. We can do this. And here's the problem. Some of you guys go, well, I have no growth mindset. There's no growth mindset for me. Here's the good news. Okay, Dr. Patrick Sharon said that you can actually develop growth mindset from fixed. You just have to start towards your goals. Everybody say start. It's very important. Okay, just start towards your goals. You can grow. But the most important thing is starting and having that growth. I can be malleable. I can figure this out. Got it? But we lose motivation. We got to keep that. A good way to keep motivation is to be around people who have what you want, or watch videos of the people who've done what you want to do. Got it? Easy stuff. If I put you around 5 people who are your exact age, who are all ultra marathoners, and make you live with them for a month, are you going to be healthier in a month? Maybe or yes? You are definitely going to be healthier. And here's the cool part. That's what you can surround yourself with, whether it's videos, or here's the other reason. The reason you want to come to all the events, to shopping days and the classes and all that stuff is, guess who's going to be there? All the people who are doing what you're doing, and you're pulling a culture together, just like that. Okay? Number 4, social pressures and convenience. What's tomorrow? Yeah, aren't you glad it wasn't today? We'd be like 4 of us in here. But it is Groundhog Day, by the way. I thought we'd kind of throw that out there. By the way, I found out this morning there was no shadow. Spring is coming. Thank you, Jesus. In fact, actually, it was right, because Monday, it's going to be 77 degrees Monday. Less than a week ago, it was 22. Okay, so, but social pressures and convenience here, you need to have a counter. So all of these barriers have a counter. We actually were team doctors for United States Olympic team wrestling team. And a good wrestler knows counter moves. Like, he knows as soon as you start to go this way, he knows exactly what you're going to try and do to him. And he knows the counter for that. So he employs it before you can get him in whatever the move is. Does it make sense? So guess what? Those barriers all have counters. So this counter for social pressures and convenience is very, very simple. You basically keep the vision of what you want so far and firm ahead of you that you want that more than all of the stuff that's in front of you. Got it? It's not hard, but here's the problem. When you get into social pressures, if everybody's doing it, what? I mean, everybody was doing it. I mean, I couldn't say no. It'd be rude. I mean, Tom makes that queso every year for Super Bowl Sunday. He would be, his feelings would be hurt if I didn't eat that. They put out 4 bags of my favorite chips just for me. What, am I not going to eat them? Right? Social pressure, you can't do that. You just want to focus on what you do want. So social pressure, here's the convenience thing too. Convenience is rough, because when we get to work, it's like, hey, I think God set those free donuts because you have to eat their food, right? It's right there, right? But you can get over that. The counter is to keep the vision, and it's really important for this next one, number 5. Last one, here we go. We like immediate rewards. Immediate rewards is how those salty French fries taste right there, okay? Crispy, salty. Sorry for putting that out as a tempter to you. But we like immediate results. Immediate results versus delayed gratification. Here's the thing. My mom, here's the counter for this. My mom was talking to Dr. Kimberly one day, and Kimberly said something that stuck on her like super glue. And she's never let it go since. But it's the one thing that helps her with this barrier. Kimberly told her one time, she goes, nothing tastes as good as fit feels. And you should write that down. That's about $1 million in cash. But my mom says every time she goes into a situation where there's social pressure or there's immediate rewards guaranteed for taste or sleeping in or sweets, or she has a thing for bread, she says nothing tastes as good as Fit feels. Now, my mom is 75 and she feels good. She runs. My mom yesterday said, I did my workout today. And she goes, I did 100 air squats with a 25-pound weight vest all the way past parallel. And she's 75. I was like, I didn't get a workout in today, Mom. I got to do that later on, I guess. When your mom comes in town and does CrossFit with you, and you have to keep up with your 75-year-old mom, it's embarrassing as a 45-year-old. But what did she say? Did you write it down? Say it for me. Nothing tastes as good as Fit feels. So there's the 5 barriers. Do you get that? Make sure you have them. Now let's move on a little bit. So you have those goals. So you have those barriers. We're going to get into some goals. If you guys would pass those out for me, so start passing out. They're going to give you another thing to take notes on, because I want you to have this as like a stack of cash for yourself. This is an important piece of paper. Now watch this. Something is only as important as you make it. Everybody make sense? You know, what is it? Kung Fu Panda, where it says the secret sauce is because you believe it's secret, right? Right. So this could be a piece of paper that ends up in your car with footprints on it and is crumpled up, and you find it like 4 weeks from now, and you're like, I got to clean up my trashy car. And that's all it was. Or this could be your ticket to the greatest year of your whole life. But guess who gets to decide that? Raise your hand. You get to decide it. Wait a second. Stop. Raise your hand. Okay, I was just checking. Some of you guys may have a shoulder injury or something from earlier. So this is what we're going to do. Okay, now watch this. Don't start writing yet. I want you to start filling this out when I tell you to, but I'm going to go through how we're going to set goals. You guys ready for that? We're going to go through a method called SMART. So the SMART method to setting goals. Raise your hand if you've heard about this. Raise your hand. About half the room, 60% of the room have heard of this before. If you've had any business seminars, you've done any kind of goal setting with anybody, you've heard this. There's adaptations to it. Now watch this. What did I say? As soon as you've heard something before you go what? I've done that. It shuts off. I've done that. It doesn't work. Guess what? Stop right there. Don't be uncoachable. How's that working for you so far? Let's get to where you want to go. Okay, so you ready? So watch this. Let's go with the first one. Okay, simple, specific, easy, convenient tasks. Okay, make it simple. It needs to be simple but concrete. Everybody with me? It needs to be simple but concrete. People make confusing, grandiose things. Here's another one. If you set them too high, it's like going back to the first one, aiming too high. You actually exhaust your mental capacity and the hope that you have. It's almost like your tank of hope has a 350-mile range, and setting a goal at 500 miles, you're going to run out of gas. But if I had stops along the way where I could fill my hope back up again, I can go as far as you want me to go. Make sense? Right? It's like a gas car, you just fill the tank up. So the first one's simple, specific, easy tasks. Next one is measurable. Okay? Everybody say measurable. Measurable. We fail in this all the time. But measurable is specific. It's a volume. It's a weight. It's a measurement around your bicep or your waist. It is a length of time. It's something. It's how long does it take you to do 10 push-ups? It's whatever. It's got a measurable amount. Everybody with me? It's very, very simple. Here's the big reason, and this is the way to answer this one. If you can tell when you have reached your goal, it's measurable. If you can tell when you've reached it, it's measurable. If it's vague, you don't want to go there. Okay, next. 3, attainable. It's attainable. Here's the thing. Some of you guys want to say that you're going to get up, like Kimberly and I, and go to the gym and work out before you get going on your day. Right now, you're getting up at 7, and you're going to go get so excited this weekend, you go, I'm going to get up like them. They get up at 3:59 every day, and if they can do it, I can do it. Awesome. The problem with it is you haven't gotten up at 3:59 until that one time where you actually stayed up all night in college. And so it may not happen. Here's the other thing. If you say you're going to get up and go work out before you get into your day, and some of you guys have young kids and you need to feed them and get them to school, that's not attainable. It's not going to fit into your life. Everybody with me? You can't do that. And so attainable would be, I'm going to work out every day, but I'm going to do something at lunch. Or I'm going to do something at lunch or in the evening time, and we're going to do it together. Everybody with me? Easy stuff, but it needs to be attainable. Number 4, relevant. Relevant equals personal. Relevant equals personal. This is personal to you. And that means 2 things. Number 1, I want you to use language and lingo and words that are emotional for you, right? I love how my body feels at this weight, with this flexibility, and my ability to be strong and lean or whatever else. I love the way that feels. I like feeling energetic. I love how this, you see where I'm going? You make it personal, something that you like or love, so you bring your emotion into it. Everybody with me with that? The other one is it's relevant. Don't say you're going to go work out and say that you're going to go biking or swimming, and you hate to swim, you hate the pool, and you don't own a bike. Okay? It's not going to happen. So don't do that. It needs to be relevant to you. It's personal. Okay? Now, number 5, it needs to be timely. And again, it's kind of like measurable, right? So you could say that about this as well. But timely also means you have scheduled this together. It's timely. That's why there's a calendar on there. I'm going to walk. Guess what's not on that calendar? What time you're actually going to walk. Got it? Here's the thing. If you guys can't do something perfect, a lot of you guys go, well, I couldn't do it perfect. That's it. I'm not going to do it. It's okay. Everybody say it's okay. It's not about being perfect. We always say this. It's not about perfection. It's about what? Progress. It's not about perfection. It's about direction. Everybody say direction. I want to be headed in the right way this entire year. And even if I take small steps, I'm going to end this year and go, man, I kicked this year. You with me? Okay. So that's 5. You guys got that? That's timely. Now here's a kind of an example. Let's take a look at a SMART goal here. Now again, this is a really attainable one. But it says, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. That's specific. Yes? Is it specific? Yes. Okay. It's measurable. I'm going to weigh myself at the end of the week. Now, first of all, I put some easy stuff on there. I don't agree with once a week, because if you're only weighing once a week, then how do you know what's changing that? If you weigh every day, first of all, if you're psychologically unbalanced, if you weigh yourself every day, all of a sudden you're going to be anorexic, don't do that. Okay, I got it. But if you weigh yourself every day, then guess what? When you ate at the Super Bowl and you had the chips that you said you weren't going to do, and you're not going to be self-critical, but you did that, you can look on the scale tomorrow and go, dang it! And guess what? It's fuel so that you don't do it again. You with me? Okay, we're not going to be our critic. We're going to encourage ourselves. But there it says end of the week. Now that's measurable. Attainable. I'm going to lose a half a pound per week. Raise your hand, and if you don't raise your hand, I'm literally looking at you. I'm going to find you after this. But raise your hand if you think you can lose a half a pound in an entire week. Unless you're like a, Holocaust victim in here or something like this. So it's like everybody here could lose a half a pound a week. Now, that's attainable. Relevant. I've been overweight. Losing weight's good for me and my health, and it's important to me. That's relevant. It's mine, right? And I would say, rather than just go that direction, I would say, I love the way I feel. I would put some emotion to that, okay? Timely, starting today, I'm going to begin my weight loss plan. And again, if you only lost a half a pound per week, and that would take you about 20 weeks. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to bust on that like it's a bad thing. If you ended this year solid, not because you had diarrhea for 2 days and you lost 10 pounds, and some of you are like, yes, I did it. That's coming right back. But if you spent all year, 20 weeks or whatever, half a year, losing 10 pounds, that's going to stay. You guys with me? That's going to stay, especially if you have the habits to support it. And so is that a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. It's awesome. It's a great thing. So again, those 5 things, that's specific. Now, what I want you to do now is we're actually going to write. You guys ready? So you need to have your piece of paper, and mine is here. So you're going to take this right here. Everybody see that? Take it right there. And the first thing says, here you will list specific, concrete, measurable, short-term goals that will help you achieve your long-term goal. Now on the side here, the long-term goal is lose weight. Okay? That's not specific yet, is it? Okay? We're going to get to here, okay? And we're going to do short-term goals. Okay? So we're going to write that in. Stop smoking is a long-term goal. Eat healthy is a long-term goal. Get more sleep is a long-term goal. And then I want you to start writing in the specifics, that SMART behind it. And then short-term is going to be those action steps, how I'm going to get there. My short-term goal is I'm going to walk 30 minutes every day, right? Or I'm going to do whatever. Like for us is we want to do CrossFit Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or some variation if we miss something. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to do something other than CrossFit, whether it's run or work out at the house or go to the gym. Got it? That's kind of our goal. And that's how we're going to achieve our weight loss goals. Mine is I want to be 195. Okay, so that's a little ways from where I'm at now. I'm at 212 now, and so I want to get down to 195. Some people go like, you shouldn't lose weight. Well, you can't see me without my shirt. I know it looks like I got six-pack abs, but I don't have six-pack abs. So, but that's it. So now, a little bit of music, Maestro. So we're going to take several minutes here, and I want you to go through. I'm going to give you just 2 or 3 minutes to start writing these goals. And you're not going to finish them today, but I want you to get at least 3 in there across. Got it? and go. Got it? So there's that example right there. And I love this. I'm just going to read this. Keep writing. You don't have to read it with me. I'm just going to read it for you. But this is William Hutchison Murray. He says, until one is committed. Everybody say committed? Until one is committed, there is hesitancy. The chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, everybody say commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would have never otherwise occurred because you committed. Everybody say commit. Say commit. A whole stream of events issue from that decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. Everybody say commit. I have learned a deep respect for one of, I forget how you say that. Was it? Goethe? I'm going to take your word for it. This is what he says. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. That's one of my favorite quotes in the world. Everybody say begin. Your piece of paper is where you begin. And I'll finish this with this. This is a social thing, okay? Aristotle says man by nature is a social animal. Everybody, whether you want to believe it or not, you care what other people think. And what we need to do is get to a point where we accept it and we use that to our favor. So this is where we want accountability, whether it's your spouse, and some of you guys are like, I don't want my spouse for accountability. It's whatever, it's okay. But a friend, somebody, and not to keep each other in negative accountability, like, you're crappy, you didn't work out. See that? I knew you were going to do that. What you want to do is, you want to encourage one another, right? It's biblical. And so you want to give at least 10 encouragements for every one correction. Got it? 10 encouragements for one correction. You're killing this. You said you were going to do it, and you did it. You're rocking this. Have you lost weight? Because you look good. Like stuff like that, right? And then so you keep each other accountable. And that one day that person doesn't show up to go walk with you, then you can go, hey, what are you doing? Didn't you commit? I'm doing this. Aren't you doing this? Right? So you can keep somebody accountable. And if you know that, it'll be better. So we're social by nature, and we want to make sure that we use those social pressures for the positive. Got it? Everybody with me? Good so far? Good. Now we're going to move into going through some serious cutting-edge stuff on nutrition to apply the information to get to the goals that you're wanting to have. And I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Kimberly. Round of applause for Dr. Kimberly.
Round of applause for him. All right, was that right? Was that good? Yeah. You guys got at least one really good, hard, solid goal? Yeah? Okay, we're going to put some... Now, Mom's in the house, so I have a couple things I want to write on the board. Zoe, if you can just put at the top, my body, my year action steps. And we're going to keep a running tally of the things that we're going to do today. Any other action steps? What do we have? We have SMART goals, right? So my body, everybody say my body, my year. So we're going to put a couple action steps over there. So the first one is set SMART goals. We're going to have a couple more action steps. So first one is set SMART goals. Make those SMART goals about your body, like about your health. Like that's really what you want them to do. So SMART goals about health. I want you to do all kinds of other goals, but specifically regarding your health. That's what I want you to nail right there. Good. And then let's also put, what was the quote? Who remembers my quote? Vitamin D for whoever remembers my quote. What does it say? Give it to me.
Nothing tastes as good as fit together.
Okay, we have a vitamin D up here. Round of applause right there. Awesome. Okay, very good. So Rebecca actually asked me to read this. We actually read every day from this book in our Southlake office. And right there in the middle, retreat. Yeah. Yay! Okay. We read from this book. It's called Discipline Equals Freedom by Jocko Willink. Who knows Jocko Willink? Anybody? 2 people? Okay. So if you want to get yourself motivated, this guy is a Navy SEAL, and so he has a lot of really awesome things to say. One chapter in here is called Sugar-Coated Lies. I like that. Sugar-Coated Lies. It says, yes, I know. I know those donuts are tempting. All those colorful sprinkles, the cream filling, the glaze, the glorious glaze. And on top of all of that, they are free. Someone brought them in and just left them here, right in front of me. Surely, this must be some kind of sign, some kind of miracle, right? I mean, food is food, and if it's free, I pretty much need to eat it. It would be ungrateful for me to say no, right? Right? Isn't that what we said earlier? Wrong, dead wrong. Those donuts aren't food. They are poison. Is that true? That's true. They're poison. Same with the chocolate chip cookies, the double Dutch chocolate cake, the can of soda, the bag of potato chips, and the pretzel-wrapped hot dogs. That was a new one for me. All that junk isn't food. It doesn't fuel you. It kills you. It literally kills you. It isn't going to make you stronger, faster, healthier, smarter, or better. It's going to do the opposite. And you know this. You know you do not need any of that junk. But it's the only choice. That's what you say to yourself. It's only choice, right? Wrong. Unless you have gone an extended period of time without food, you don't need to eat. And you definitely don't need to eat that poison. You don't need to eat. You don't even know what hungry is. Humans can go 30 days without food. You can make it. So when those foods are tempting you, calling your name, and enticing you with their sugar-coated lies. Say sugar-coated lies. So when they're tempting you, enticing you with their sugar-coated lies, get angry. Get aggressive. Stand your ground in the battle and fight by saying no. Hold the line. Hold the line for your health, your mental toughness, and exercise your will, which I promise is stronger than the will of a donut, if you want it to be. Hold the line. Now, is that a good place to start on nutrition? Yeah? So some of you need to probably maybe get mad at the sugar-coated lies. We need to get mad. So we're going to get into, right now, nutrition. And one of the things I want to remind you is there's a lot of resources. So I'm going to hit a lot of things. But we have the Align Your Health book, has a lot of recipes in there. It explains more in detail the core and the advanced one, the eating plans that we have here in the office. I'm going to go through them, or that we teach in our office. But I'm going to go through them today. Also, you have our website. And this little lovely one right here made a lot of videos for the website. So you'll see her and probably even my son on there making some silly videos, but how to make some of those recipes on there as well. See that right there? That's the lie. That's what we've got to get mad at. What does that represent to you? Give me more. Who just said it? Cancer. Inflammation, which means what? What do you think of when you think of inflammation? My joints hurt, right? Pain, stress, dementia, weight gain, back pain, like depression, candida. Like seriously, when you look at this stuff, you've got to get mad at the sugar-coated lies. And you've got to look at it and change what it means on the inside of you and start saying different things about what it looks like. Going back to the immediate gratification, you've got to change the way that looks to you. Now I want to show you a couple things right here. Your relationship with fats and non-foods. I want to show you a little video I think would be very interesting for you guys to see right now.
This is Kraft American cheese, right? Now this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I grew up eating this. A lot of other people grew up eating this. I'm going to show you what happens when you burn Kraft American cheese. It's supposed to melt like every other cheese, right? Listen to that. This is plastic. This is ridiculous. Every other cheese melt. I didn't believe this until I went to my fridge and got this cheese or cheese product. And literally, I'm burning this and it's not melting. You hear that? And it smells like burnt plastic. Yeah. Are you kidding me? You're literally eating plastic. Educate yourself.
Does that make you hungry? So I want to do a little demo right now and show you a little bit about fats. Okay, so we want to talk about what fats are doing to us, but that's actually not even a fat. How many of us have eaten Kraft cheese? Like, come on. Raise your hands. Like the grilled cheese sandwiches, right? Was it just me that did that? Right? I need a little Richard. Yay! Round of applause for Richard. Come on down here, Richard. Oh, yeah, it's actually good. Up here, I think that's good. So we're going to do a little, go ahead.
You never know what's going to happen if you volunteer for us, and I'm just telling you that's what happens.
So I want you to go ahead and walk us through. So what we've got here is saran wrap, okay? And so what I want to explain to you guys, how many of you guys have seen this demo? Have you guys seen this demo? So what I'm going to walk you through is make sure everybody has a really good understanding about how fat, your brain is actually made up of fat, and every single cell in your body has a cell membrane that's fat. Okay, so if every one of your cells has fat around the cell membrane, every single cell, and it has healthy fats around the cell membrane, then what should be happening is toxins or good nutrients should be able to get in all of your cells, and toxins should be able to get out of your cells. Now that's if we're eating good fats.
You didn't think I was going to wrap his head, but I did.
We'll poke a hole in there in his mouth right there. And Richard's such a good sport.
I have liability insurance. I can't chase you, Richard. Go this way. Other way.
So healthy cells, what should be happening is nutrients get in the healthy cells and toxins get out of healthy cells. But when we eat bad foods, like the plastic that we just showed on the cheese and the Chick-fil-A that we, go to whatever their tasty thing is of the week, or Wendy's, or what? Name some of the fast food places. McDonald's. Like when Whataburger. Oh my gosh, don't get me started with Whataburger, okay? Don't get me started with the Whataburger. So what happens with your healthy cells is good stuff gets in and bad stuff can get out. That means that you've been eating good fats when that function actually happens. But when you eat foods like Whataburger, that's my favorite one right now. I'm going to go after Whataburger right now, okay? Whataburger. When you eat Whataburger, what happens is you wrap every single one of your cells in these bad fats. Now, if this is every one of your 30 trillion cells and you've been eating Whataburger, can you get kale nutrients inside this cell? Can you get toxic elements that your body may have breathed in or been exposed to out of this cell? If that's the case, then can we lose weight? It's going to be pretty dang difficult, right? What about heal from a disease like cancer? Can we see why the importance of eating good foods, and especially good fats, and when we don't, what happens is we actually can't heal from diseases like cancer, like, name it, joint pain, joint-related issues, MS. You can't heal. And then for this weekend, what we're really working on is we're actually working on Resolution Reset about our health and our body. And if we actually don't make some of these resolutions where we say, no more, like I'm not going to eat Kraft cheese anymore. I'm not going to go to Whataburger anymore. Like no more. I'm drawing the line right now. Because otherwise, I'm not actually going to be healthy. I'm actually going to be toxic cells, and I can't heal from anything. Okay? Do you guys see this? Everybody see this? Okay, good. All right, Richard, thank you. Okay. You are definitely wrapped good there.
I got you. All right, wait. Oh, man, you got a knife.
Yeah. Oh, he was prepared for that one. You think you've done this one before, Richard? Woohoo! want you to tell me right now some good healthy fats. Tell me. Okay, avocado. Give me some other. Coconut oil, so we can cook with it. Olive oil. What else? Flaxseed. Oh my gosh, you can put those in your smoothies and your salads. Butter. What kind of butter, though? Real Kerrygold butter. Yeah. What else? Almonds. So really any kind of nuts, right? So we've thrown out a few of, and not the ones with M&Ms in the bag. I know. Okay, I want to go through the list of what's on your menu, okay? So the top 20 unhealthy foods. You guys ready? The top 20 unhealthy foods. The first thing on the list is going to be sugary drinks. Okay? If we are going to try to do something different, what would we choose instead of a sugary drink? Water, but what if we're not quite ready for all the water? Somebody says wine. What? My daughter said Zevia, right? Zevia, Z-E-V-I-A. It's a soda that's made with stevia. So that might be your new drink, Kevin. That might be your new drink, right? How about LaCroix, right? That's another, right? So you just want to look at, so the top 20 unhealthy foods, let me hit it. Sugary drinks, unhealthy pizza, white bread, juices, not the green juice that you drank today. Did you guys drink green juice yet? Ooh, I just gave it away. You're going to have some green juice in a little bit. Juices, so we're talking about, you guys know, Welch's and stuff like that, you know, the juices that are just all sugar. Industrial vegetable, margarine, pastries, cookies, and cakes. Now, I like desserts. So I'm not talking about the maximized living types of desserts. And pastries, cookies, and cakes. French fries, gluten-free junk foods. Uh-oh. I didn't make this list up. Okay? Gluten-free junk foods. You'll notice if you start paying attention to a lot of the labeling that says gluten-free, that really it just means a whole heck of a lot of sugar. Same thing as things that say low fat, it just means lots of sugar. Okay? I know they tricked us and they kind of lied to us with the labeling, but I'm here to empower you so you can empower your family. Agave nectar, oops, sorry, agave nectar. Low-fat yogurt. Again, we just hit that. So low-fat yogurt. So what would we rather have yogurt-wise? It's on the top 20 list, guys. It's 11 on the list. What should we have instead of low-fat yogurt? Full-fat yogurt. So just remove the low-fat words and stick with full fat. That's really what you want, is the full good fats, right? We just talked about the fat. We just wrapped him in saran wrap because of all the bad fats. We want good fats, so full-fat yogurt. Low-carb junk foods, candy bars, processed meat, processed cheese. Well, we just saw that, right? Did that shock anybody? That just shocked me when I saw that. Processed cheese, most fast food. Okay, I'm just going to say most. We might have a couple of exceptions. What would those exceptions be? No, I'm so sorry. No to Chick-fil-A. Sorry. Sonic is not good. It's super bad. Chipotle might be a better source, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm giving you one. I can't think of another one. Sorry. Salada is another fast food place. There would be another one. Yeah. Salada. All right. High-calorie coffee drinks. Some of you are getting your total calorie fat, bad fat load just from one drink. Right? It says coffee drinks, the high-calorie ones. You know, like if you go to Starbucks and it's a Frappuccino, it's like a dessert. There's like this big foamy like whipped cream all over the top with caramel. Nobody gets that, do they? Nobody in here gets that? Okay, most processed foods, high in sugar, refined grains, and vegetable oils, most packaged foods. So most packaged and processed foods, man, we're in trouble. Like if we're buying packaged and processed foods, we're in trouble. That's on the top 20 unhealthy foods. And then genetically modified, GMOs. What's O stand for? Organisms. So we want to stay away from. That is actually the list of the top 20 unhealthy foods. So again, what's on your menu? If any of those things are on your menu, you might go back to your goals and you might go, all right, I'm drinking those unhealthy coffee drinks. Let me see what I can replace it with. Okay? Or I drink soda every day. What can I replace that with? We said water, but maybe we're not ready for water. Maybe we're going to go to Zevia's or LaCroix. Okay? So we want to have some transitions over. Making small changes. So how many of you are guests today? Guests? Okay. So this might be really radical for some of you guys who are like, oh my gosh, these people are crazy, right? So you might be one of those people who's just like, I need to make small changes. So like I said, those small changes might just be maybe you eat out 3 meals a day, and maybe a small change might be that you make one of your meals in your house. Maybe you buy this protein powder and you make smoothies in the morning. That might be a small change for you. Now, I'm not advocating eating out, but at the same time, I want you to get there. I want you to win, okay? So that might be the one change that you make. Pick a meal that you actually, will switch. Again, going back to, bread. Maybe you do have, white bread on the countertop. So maybe a small change for you would be to eat what kind of bread? Anybody? Ezekiel or sprouted grain bread. That might be a better option if you're still going to eat bread, okay? They also have tortillas at Natural Grocers, and I think, even Trader Joe's might have stuff like that. So we want to look at, changing and making some options and make some of those small changes. So I'm going to get into 2 of the eating plans. We have 2 eating plans that we talk about and we teach in our offices. So if you're ready to move into making a bigger change, then you might look at something that we call the core plan. Okay, core plan is really healthy nutrition for everybody. Okay, we have another plan we'll talk about in just a minute where we actually help you decide if you need something a little bit more stringent so that you can actually meet some bigger goals for yourself. But Max Living core plan, what you're going to want to do in the core plan is you're going to focus on eating healthy fats. We just talked about those healthy fats. Okay. Again, the Align Your Health book, in the appendix in the back of the book, actually has appendix. Each of the different appendix has core plan, advanced plan in there. And so, Rebecca, do we have a book? Maybe I can get a book up here stage and I can kind of show everybody if we have an Align Your Health book around here. So healthy fats, and then no damaged fats. So we want to pay attention to those damaged fats. We just talked about the 20 unhealthy foods. So we want to actually replace those. If you don't have this book, it's called Align Your Health. And this book, in the back of it, has beautiful, colorful recipes in the back and pictures, along with, like I said, my website. There's just a ton of resources. But then in the appendices in the back, you can go through meal planning, shopping, come to one of our shopping classes. But this will be able to help you making some of those action steps regarding what is my list of fats I should have? What are the oils I can cook with? What temperature can I cook them in? That's what this book will do for you. So naturally raised animal proteins, as opposed to what? Anybody? Conventional, processed, genetically modified. What about, non-organic, right? That's the opposite of conventional. So you want to look at that kind of stuff. Whole grains and ancient grains. So that's on the core plan. If you are a person that's following the core plan, you can have those whole grains and ancient grains. What would give me an idea of what whole grains and ancient grains are? Quinoa is a great one, right? Buckwheat's another great one. Vegetable, that would be, you can have the vegetables, that's right, but that's actually not, that wouldn't be on this list here. But yeah, you can have those. What else? Anybody else? Rye, lentils, things like that. Those are going to be ancient whole grains and ancient grains. And then a variety of fruits and vegetables. So on the core plan, as long as you're buying your fruits and vegetables and they're not the dirty ones, that the Dirty Dozen, there's a list from the Dirty Dozen, the Environmental Working Group puts out. You want to actually make sure you're buying the ones that are not on that dirty list. Organically, you buy the organic ones that are on the dirty list. but variety of fruits and vegetables. You can have all the fruits and vegetables you want when you're on the core plan. Now, what we want to do now is we want to go through people who might need something a little bit more stringent, like what we call the advanced plan. Everybody say healing diet. Okay, so the advanced plan, another name for that would be called the healing diet. And so you might want to be on the healing diet if you have any of these indications or symptoms. So if you have currently taking medication for triglycerides, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, insulin, leptin, if you're taking medication for those, then you want to be on something a little bit more stringent because you want to heal from that, right? In our office, the patients that come in our office, most of them are able to get off almost all or most of their medications just by following what we teach in the 5 Essentials. I know that sounds crazy, but you'll hear some testimonies coming up soon here of people who really do that. So if you've been taking medications for any of those things and you'll want to follow what we call advanced plan, I'm going to tell you what advanced plan is in a minute. I'm going to make you commit first, and then I'll tell you what's on it. Is that fair? Doesn't your mom do that to you? I'm going to make you commit first, and then I'll tell you what advanced plan is. All right, high insulin, high leptin. If you have an issue with toxicity, we heard inflammatory disease earlier, allergies and arthritis. I mean, any kind of arthritis. You know, maybe you have gout, and gout's in the toe or the knees, inflamed. Maybe you have rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, psoriatic arthritis, any type of arthritis, then this would be the plan that you'd want to follow. On the spectrum, and then cancer, okay? Let's just hit this for a second. Cancer, we can all be in agreement that we would really rather be growing and actually multiplying more healthy cells rather than cancer cells, right? So we're going to be we're going to have cancer cells along with healthy cells. It's just a matter of how many you have more of, okay? What foods do we eat that makes more cancer cells? Sugar. So you said sugar. That means that what we've got to do is figure out what are the foods that actually turn to sugar, right? Because we just said we don't want to make cancer cells, and sugar makes more cancer cells. So that means we've got to go, okay, well, what's the food that makes more cancer cells? What turns to sugar quickly? So if you have had cancer or you're currently battling cancer, the one thing you want to stay away from is sugar or anything that turns to sugar, okay? We know that sugar is it because what is the scan that they do for people to check if you have cancer? PET scan, and what do they use? Radioactive sugar, right? So that's how we know that sugar loves cancer, or sugar loves cancer cells, and we can actually spot it on a PET scan. So if you have it, you want to stay on the healing diet. That's going to be your new eating plan if you've ever had cancer. The next thing would be any energy, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia type disorder, okay? If you've had that diagnosis or you've been battling with it, then this is going to be the eating plan that you want to be following. Heart disease. Any type, high blood pressure, right? Arrhythmia, any type of heart disease issue, we want to make sure we're following the healing diet or the advanced plan. Obesity, this is a really great fast-track way to lose weight, okay? Problems processing grains. If you have been diagnosed or dealing and battling with ADD, ADHD, have you ever noticed that when you feed kids sugar, they act really calmly? They're just calm, right? Aren't they just peaceful? Right? She's getting me. Lies, right? No, so if kids don't act like that, if they don't act peaceful and calm and relaxed, then do we act that way? No, we have problems focusing. We have problems staying on task, getting things done, right? We feel anxiety and stress from just that kind of stuff. So we want to stay away from sugar, okay, for that purpose, and follow the advanced plan. Mental and emotional disorders. Have you noticed that when you eat sugar, you feel super like mellow and chill and non-emotional? like you want to go, like you're just kind of like, let's hang out, let's chill. Or what have you noticed about your emotions when you eat sugar? You're like a roller coaster, right? You're all the way up, you're all the way down, you're all the way up, you're all the way down, right? So healing diet helps to balance emotions. So you have a teenager that has trouble balancing their emotions, probably we shouldn't be eating Whataburger and donuts and Cokes, right? And then medication. So if you have a goal that you want to get off of medication and you're working with your doctor or measuring your blood pressure or measuring your blood sugar, then you want to follow the advanced plan and then you keep measuring and tracking things. That'll be part of your SMART goals, right? All right, so now based upon what we just know here, who in the room knows that they need to follow this even though they don't know what it is quite yet? I need a commitment. Come on. Come on. Come on. Up, 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 high. I got a few of these. Ooh, she's going to take away my what? Right? So this should be the plan that we should follow if we have issues with this. Now, let me just answer the question, because usually it's like, how long? Right? How long do I have to do this? That's what I get a lot. How long do I have to be in the advanced plan? How long, y'all?
Forever.
Ooh, I got a forever, a mad forever up here. Okay, what if you're doing this because you're on blood pressure medication? How long should you be on it? Okay, till you're off, right? You get off, your blood pressure normalizes, everything's cool, and you go on what we call the core plan, and you keep tracking and your blood pressure's good, then it's good, right? What about digestive dysfunction? What if you're a person battling with constipation, diarrhea? Maybe it goes even as far as like ulcerative colitis. How long should you be on advanced plan? Until you get it under control, until you heal, right? You might be able to add some of these things that are on the core plan into your life, like add some multiple fruits, and you might be able to add different the carrots and the vegetables and things like that when you heal from it. So this answers the question of how long. Now, if you have cancer or if you've ever had cancer, then how long? You should always be on it, right? So that's really the answer to that question. Now, what's on there? Yikes, the very first thing. Oh, my goodness. The very first thing. So no grains, grain-free. Now, why? Why? Yeah, like don't shoot the messenger here. I know that you guys like your bread. Some of you do anyway. But grain-free is because grains turn to sugar. Now, does that mean that rice turns to sugar? Okay. Does that mean that your favorite noodles turn to sugar? All right, what about tortillas? Now, there are some tortillas that Dr. David showed us at the cooking day that have, we have a little problem, Zachary? There are some tortillas that we can have. They're made of what? Almond flour, right? Right? So you can actually have some tortillas that are made of that kind of stuff. So you can have that. Now, many healthy fats, so we listed a lot of the healthy fats. No damaged fats. Now, I'm going to hit you guys with another damaged fat. Be careful when you buy your nut butters, because your nut butters, it'll say organic, and it'll have the little non-GMO label on it, but you'll spin it around and you'll see where it says roasted. Okay, that's where you'll get tricked. Roasted nut butters are bad fats. So you want to pay attention to the roasted almond butter and the roasted peanut butter, okay? That's just my little insert for that kind of stuff because those are tricky things. Naturally raised animal proteins. Again, where should we get some of these naturally raised animal proteins? We can get them at the local farmer's market. We can get them at Trader Joe's. We can get them at natural grocers. We can get them at Costco. Like, there's a lot of sources. Even other grocery stores are carrying it, right? You just have to learn how to read the labels. If they don't carry it, insist that they do. You know, start telling them that you want that. And then only low sugar fruits and berries. What are low sugar fruits and berries? think about any kind of fruit that keeps your glycemic index down. Okay? Anytime. So that would be green apples, any types of berries, grapefruit, and we'll be technical with avocados. Okay, lemons and limes. Okay? That's going to be your fruits. And she's got her green apple. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Tony. And then let me throw one more thing that's not on my list here. Vegetables. Okay? You can have all vegetables except for the three that cause your glycemic index to go up. They're higher in sugar. What are those? Carrots, potatoes, and corn. Those are your big ones, okay? So potatoes, even sweet potatoes, have a high glycemic index, okay? So you want to stay away from those, okay? While you're following which plan? Advanced plan, that's right. Now I'm going to get into something a little bit more advanced. Everybody say intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting. Let me have my little board here. So intermittent fasting. So I'm going to introduce you. Now we've taken some steps, right? We've gone from making small changes. We talked about the core plan. We talked about the advanced plan. Now we're going to get into something a little bit more advanced, okay? Intermittent fasting is not a diet. It's actually just a way of eating, okay? It's not a diet. It's just a way of eating. So I'm going to actually walk you through how to do it. This is a pattern of eating. And what I want to do, is this good? I think, Zoe, let's try and set this up. Let's take that one down, and we'll put that one up. And so we'll unpack. How many of you have done intermittent fasting? Wow, quite a few of you. I love it. Okay, so one really, really important benefit of intermittent fasting, when you start to get in the 40s and higher, you actually start to diminish in one of the really important hormones, and it's called growth hormone, HGH. We actually start to diminish in that hormone. That's why bone loss starts to be a concern, things like that. And so what intermittent fasting is really important for is healing and helping with these two hormones, HGH and insulin, okay? So the important thing about HGH is that actually is what puts on the lean muscle. It helps your bones to be stronger, okay? And if you actually have HGH or insulin is actually present in your system at the same time as you have that, this will actually cancel that out. So doing this program, this pattern of actually eating, will actually help to decrease your insulin levels, okay? So for those of you who have dealt with blood sugar issues, this is fantastic for that. Now, you don't go cold turkey and do what Dr. David and I are doing right now. There's a process that you do and a pattern that you do to transition when you're doing intermittent fasting, okay? But the two hormones I really want you to pay attention to is the ones that actually are like HGH anti-aging. It's actually helpful for burning fat off. It's helpful for, your lean muscle. It's helpful for building bone. Like, this is just a fantastic, really, really important hormone, and the best way to do it is intermittent fasting. So there's a couple things you need to pay attention to. There's a fasting window and a feeding window. I'm calling it a feeding, not an eating, but say fasting window. Now say feeding window. So the fasting window is the period of time in which you're not eating anything except for fluids. And if you have coffee, you don't put cream in it. You don't put butter in it. It's literally because it causes a digestive response. So you're just having fluids, and you can actually exercise, and that'll be when you rest, you work, you can exercise, but you're in your fasting window. And I'll walk through this transition. I just want to get the basic points down first with you guys. In your feeding window, that'll be when you eat however many meals you're eating, okay? That's going to be your feeding window, okay? Everybody with me? Okay. So in your first step to doing the transition for intermittent fasting, many of you are doing this right now where you have 5 meals, and they consist of breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. You guys good with that? So this may be your first step to transition. If this is where you are, where you eat a lot of food throughout the day, then your very next step would be, as long as these meals are all good meals based upon your core or advanced plan, like your choice that you just made, then you can switch to 3 meals, and it might take you 2-3 weeks to do it. Okay? You can switch to 3 meals, and those would be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you're dropping your snacks off. Now, I'm not even talking about fasting yet. I'm just talking about the first step to transition. Okay? Everybody with me? Okay. Then the next step, after you've been there, if that's where you are now, then you might, or you're just transitioning there, you might take a couple weeks, making sure that your fats are high. High fat will help you be more satisfied. High fat. So stay away from the stuff that says low fat. Make sure you're having high fat foods. High fat foods will make you be full. Okay? Then what we do from this transition, we're actually going to split into 3 meals that will be intermittent fasting. Okay? You're going to pick your window in which you actually do this. Some people will do it between 12 and 8. They like that window. That means every other time from 8 until 12 the next day, you'll be doing just fluids, okay? And you can exercise again, like we said. Some people like 11 to 7. That seems to be a pretty common one, 11 to 7. And some people are very unusual and do it like Dr. David and I, and most of you won't do it like we do. But we actually do it from 6:30 to about 12:30. So we have a 6-hour window. Yes, ma'am. 11 in the morning until 7 at night. Yeah, so some people you'll eat. So your feeding window will be from 11 in the morning until 7 at night. And if you go to bed at 10, that gives you 3 hours post. That gives you 3 hours post, before you go to bed, which is good. So can everybody understand the feeding window? That's the time when you eat all of your food. Okay, everybody with me? Okay. Then the next transition that you'll do after you've been there for a few weeks. Now, remember, in this phase, as long as your fats are high, and we're talking about 65% of your food intake for the day is fat. 65. And 25% is protein, and 10% is carbs coming from what sources? Low glycemic. Okay? So 65, as long as your fat is high, then what you've done is you've actually helped yourself boost your HGH and decrease your insulin levels. You guys with me? You're not with me. Carbs. Is everybody with me? Okay, with me. Are you scared? Okay, good. All right, then the very last step, after you've been at this phase for a little while, you could be at this phase for a year, but if you can be at this stage for a little while and you want to take it up to another notch, then what you can do is have 2 meals a day, and you can even change your window. Maybe your window isn't 8 hours, maybe it's 6. You can even go as long as a 4-hour feeding window. I've seen that. In fact, in this magazine right here, this magazine I found, and it's Time magazine. This is Science of Weight Loss. Literally, this is everything I'm talking about today. It's in this, and this is actually the first time I picked up a magazine like this, and I liked it. Okay? So this magazine gets into the science. There's a whole lot out there about the science behind intermittent fasting. And so you can do a feeding window of 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. 8 hours seems to be the most popular, and then the rest of the time you're fasting. Everybody with me? Okay, good. Then the very last thing that's really, really important that what you can do on this is add, if you want to intensify your results, get the maximum results, then what you would do is you would add high-intensity training, like Max T3, like Orange Theory, like CrossFit. Okay? You just add some of this high-intensity workout. That will even surge your hormones even higher. There's a couple other hormones I want to hit. I want you to take a look there for a second. Nobody get it? It's funny how long it takes people. They just kind of sit and stare at it. So a couple other hormones that you'll actually reset doing intermittent fasting are these guys, okay? You like it? Okay, I warned you about the hormones and all that meat and dairy you eat. Right? Got a few extra nipples on there. Grew a tail. So couple the becoming a fat melting machine by doing this intermittent fasting, you actually can help reset cortisol. Now cortisol is your stress hormone, right? And when you have high stress, high cortisol levels, what you do is you actually store fat right here around the middle. Okay? In fact, I'll go a step further to tell you, if you see anybody with a big belly or a big, big pot belly on you, which hormone do we also have a whole lot of? We have a lot of insulin, because insulin is your fat-storing hormone. We don't want to have a lot of insulin, do we? We have exactly the right amount. So cortisol breaks down your muscles, stimulates fat storage, raises your blood pressure, causes water retention, causes hunger and intense food cravings. One of the things that's in our fat bundle that we'll talk about in a little bit here, because we have a weight loss bundle, is max T3, and it actually helps to reset this cortisol. The next hormone we hit, HGH. The third one is leptin, tells your brain to burn fat for energy, right? Instead of burning your muscle for energy, right, you want to burn your own fat for energy, right? So leptin will do that. Now, in the presence of a whole lot of fat on your body, your brain has a hard time hearing leptin. Okay? So we have to work on the eating right and these other things right here, because it helps our brain to receive and hear what leptin's supposed to tell us. Ghrelin is another hormone, tells your brain you're no longer hungry. For those of you who are like, I can't stop eating. Well, ghrelin is a lot of balance, right? You're just eating all the time. Insulin, again, estrogen, when increased, makes fat and shuts down fat-burning hormones. We don't want to do that. In fact, with that, toxic fat cells produce estrogen. So fat cells perform a function called aromatization. Say aromatization. Aromatization. It converts testosterone. So it actually messes the hormone pathway up. It converts testosterone to estrogen. If we had testosterone on this person in this picture, what would his belly look like? Right, six-pack. Dr. Davis, six-pack, right? I'm sorry. Okay, so testosterone converts to estrogen. The more body fat you have, the more it tips the balance toward estrogen. So then we just have more fat. We're going through the aromatase process. So that's what we don't want to do. What we do instead is we do something what we call the detox system. And so it actually is a product that has two products in it. The detox box looks like this. There's a cell detox and a body detox. This cleans the cells out, and then you permanently remove the toxins through the body detox. One's in the morning and one's in the evening. That's how you take this product. But that's a really great way to actually help to balance and help that decrease that aromatase and get that six-pack abs. So a couple things. Yeah, it went down $25 when Max Living switched the prices over too. So for those of you who didn't buy it because of that, I get 5 every month because with my kids, so it's a good one. So resolution reset, couple bundles. You're going to want to make sure you have your little product order form, because we're going to have food here in a minute. They're getting the food ready. You guys get hungry? Yeah. Guess what food you're going to eat a lot of today? It's a 3-letter word. Fat. You're going to eat a lot of fat, right? Eat a lot of fat. Okay, so 2 bundles. If you are the person that has just been eating the Whataburger, and you've been eating a lot of candy bars, and you've been eating packaged foods and things like that, but you don't necessarily need to lose weight, then that might be you, that first one, okay? If you're the person that you're like, no, I need to lose weight, my hormones are, a mess, I need to reset that, I want to follow this intermittent fasting plan, then you might need the fat loss bundle. And I know we only have a few bundles back there. Rebecca already let me know, I only have a certain number, so when they're gone, they're gone. So if that's you, just make sure you pick that bundle up, okay? So that'll be what you want to pick up today. Oh, yeah, and one thing I want to tell you before I get into the last step. I have a little guide that'll be inside each of those bundles, and it's called the Fat Loss Prospectus. So it really walks through the science of fat loss. How to take the products is at the back, like the instructions on how to take the supplements, when to take them. That's at the back of it. Answers all those questions. There's some stuff on there about high-intensity exercise and how often to do it. Minimizing toxins. So there's a lot of really good action steps. That'll be inside the bundle if you pick up the fat loss bundle. The fat loss bundle, the products that are in there, I'll actually show you. So detox, the detox system, the protein powder, either chocolate or vanilla, the greens product right here. Then we have the vitamin D and omega to heal those like the Richard, what we did with Richard. Poor Richard. Where's Richard? Did he run away? Oh, there you are. Okay, good. The heal the cells, and then your magnesium right there. So that's actually what's in there for maximum weight loss. Okay. Yeah, it's about probably some, depends on how you eat them, but yeah, about a month process. Mm-hmm. And the other one, actually, let me go back. The other one has a men's or women's multi, an omega, sleep and mood, B complex, and a daily defense. That's going to be in the other one. And she'll have it, they'll be all packaged together. So Rebecca will be up at the back, and she can kind of show you a little bit more about it. And then I'll be in the back if you have questions for me as well, too. And then the last step I'll say, for those of you who maybe you've been doing some of this for a little while, and you're like, I need to pick it up a little bit. I need to know what is going on. That's what we do. That's when we do testing. So metabolics testing, there are kits that we actually are selling them today. I think they're a discount today. Are they discounted, the metabolics? Yes, ma'am. So there's a discount on the metabolics test kits, but it's a blood and urine test that you take the guess out of it for yourself, and you actually test your own blood and your own urine, and you can see exactly what's going on with your digestive system. You can see what's going on with your blood sugar imbalance. You can see if you have a risk for cancer. That's on there. And you can see what heart attack. Say it again. They're saving $70 today. Okay, good. You can see what your stress hormones look like. So that'll be tested on this. So there's a whole autoimmune markers. I have several autoimmune markers. So this test is fantastic for taking the guess out of it. If you're a person that's eating fast food every day and you're still in the beginning of these steps, don't go here first. Okay? Let's make some other changes first. Okay? I want you to win, and these SMART goals, you got to make yourself attainable, goals that you can actually meet. It might be a goal that you set for yourself for 6 months or something like that. But a couple of the testimonies we see with people with scleroderma going away from doing this, breathing scares healed, Cymbalta getting off Cymbalta, coughing since birth going away, steroid medications off, being able to get pregnant with inability because of uterine fibroids, people that have been on chemo that have had chemo brain and really devastating effects from the chemo, they've done fantastic doing the metabolics. I've had patients get off the liver transplant list following the metabolics. Another patient get off Adderall, Wellbutrin, metformin, thyroid, completely drug-free. And another patient who actually had his finger chopped almost off, and he had been on metabolics already when this injury happened, and the doctor could not believe, the whole staff couldn't believe how quickly he was healing, and his finger, all the feeling is back in his finger. Like it restored and healed. And so because he was already on the program, the metabolics program, he actually healed very quickly. Another patient who went from a size 24 down to a size 12 in 30 days. That's just because she actually stopped guessing what she needed, and she started taking exactly what her body needed, and she was able to, the weight just came off. So this is the kind of stuff that we recommend action step-wise. I'll keep adding the list of action steps for you guys, but has this been helpful so far? Okay.
Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning.
Okay, so tell us about your headaches before you came in.
Before I came in, I had headaches every day. It was abnormal for me to not have a headache. And then like once every 4 days, I would get debilitating headaches. I couldn't even function.
So what did you do when you had a headache?
Took a lot of medicine.
Okay, and where do you work at?
The ER. I'm an ER nurse.
Okay, so came here and we found interference to your nerve supply, the upper part of your neck, right? So we started adjusting it. What kind of adjustment? Not just crack your neck adjustments, but specific, right?
Yes.
So then we actually corrected your spine. What happened to your curve in your neck?
it returned.
Yeah, and the atlas, the first bone,
Is straight again.
yes, perfect. And your low back had a curve in it too, right?
Yes, it did.
Perfect. And so as a result of that, what happened to the headaches?
They went away.
What is-
Especially the really bad ones. I haven't had a really bad one since.
Ah, that's so gorgeous. So would you recommend people get their spinal nervous system checked?
100%.
Especially if they have headaches?
Yes.
Amen. Well, we really love and appreciate you. So thanks for being here. If you have headaches and you need that fixed, come see us at Herb Family Wellness.
Yes.
All right, so tell us, what is this?
This is an albuterol inhaler for people who have asthma attacks.
And that's what you had.
For years, from the time I was 3 years old, and I'll be 63 next month.
So how many years did you carry one of these?
Well, I took asthma and allergy medication since I was 3 years old. Tedrol was the allergy or asthma medication at the time, but for the past 30 years I've had to have an emergency inhaler just in case I needed it for flare-ups. And
And now guess what? She gives it to me. Why would you give it to me?
I don't need it anymore. I haven't had to use one in the last 5-6 years, and that's all thanks to chiropractic care and the wonderful care that I have with Dr. David Erb.
Well, she's awesome. If you or your kids have asthma or allergies or anything like that, and you'd like to not use these again, come see us at Herb Family Wellness. See you here. Mwah. That was Everybody, this is Dr. David Erb, Herb Family Wellness. This is my friend Susan. So Susan, tell us what was going on when you first came to the office.
Lots of anxiety, panic attacks, and just feeling awful.
So I met her, she was going to the emergency room
Yep.
quite often. And it's like you thought you were having a heart attack, couldn't breathe, all the rest. What did they do for that?
Medication
Medication, so they,
drug me up.
yeah, how was that working?
Not very good.
Yeah, so again, some of you guys, it's no judgment on people that are doing that. Some people find some relief in that, but it's not finding the cause, and our whole job is to find the cause. For her specifically, there's a lot of spinal misalignments, and so we've worked through that, and through that process, what happened?
No medication. Got off of the anxiety meds and no panic attacks and no anxiety.
When's the last time you had a panic attack?
Oh gosh. Let's see, I've been here almost 5 years now, so it's probably been 5 years. Almost 5
Since you
years.
first got here. Why do you stay under care?
Keep it going.
Hi everybody, this is Claire. Claire, what are we doing today?
Throwing away my pills.
Throwing away the pills. One of these pills costs how much?
$1,000 for that one.
$1,000 a month.
These are
For just
$38
one.
each.
$38 each for each
After
one of those.
insurance.
After insurance. So what are we doing? We're getting rid of these. Why?
Because I don't need them
Because we're off of all of them. So you came in, how long you been under care?
since April.
So what were you diagnosed with?
Ulcerative colitis.
Ulcerative colitis going like up to 30 times a day or something like that, right? How's it going now?
Awesome.
That's so great. Anyway, so if you have any health issues that your medical doctor seems incapable of helping you with because no one's getting down to the cause of it, come see us, Herb Family Wellness in North Texas. Herb Family Wellness. Would you say that'd be a good idea?
Yes.
Awesome, because we get to the cause of it and fix that. Give me a hug. That was awesome. Great. You can hit. That's awesome. Put them in there.
Okay, I'll save the biggest one for last.
That was awesome. Good. I want you guys to think about what it feels like to come to work every day, and every time you go to a room, there is another miracle, and you're going, I don't understand how the world does not get this. Raise your hand if you've ever been frustrated that you feel like, why doesn't the world really understand this? Oh, it makes me feel so much better. Thank you. Okay, so let's get started with this. We're going to get started with oxygen and exercise. Everybody say exercise? That is not a curse word. It's going to be okay. But listen, as far as when it comes to reaching your goals and having healthy habits this year, exercise is going to have to be more of a part of it than not, which means if there's 7 days in a week, guess how many days of that you should probably be doing something physical? Thank you, Joby. 7 is right. It's probably 4 or more. Got it? Because if you're doing 3, then you're doing something less often than not. Does it make sense? And so we make sure that we're very physical. But physicality is different for everybody. Now, exercise really has been looked at as a dirty word. And I have always loved it because it was part of kind of my identity. If it wasn't your identity when you were in high school or kind of as you were coming up as you were a teenager, then it's probably not something that you naturally just go towards. And there's a lot of us like that. And so for me, what ended up happening is when I turned 40, something kind of switched for me. Something she was talking about with human growth hormone. This actually starts to decrease after the age of 30 for guys. Everybody go, yeah, which is like our superhero hormone right here. And insulin, naturally start to have higher and higher levels of insulin because of the standardized American diet. You need more of it because you're not as sensitive as you used to be. So we have more and more insulin than it takes to do the same thing. So if insulin is high and HDH is low, guess what happens? We get old fast. And we don't have as lean body muscle. It affects testosterone levels, all the rest. But it's for women and for men in good ways. But what happens is, after that age of about 40, I was trying to work out the same way I did when I was in my 20s. Everybody with me? So I was like, I would get on a kick and go, I'm going to go in and do like my bro sets. What is my bro sets? Tries and bis, right? Chest and back, leg day, right? And then I would get real puffy and swollen, and in a way I'd be like, yeah, in the mirror. But I wasn't lean, and I wasn't like, in my 20s, I would work out like that, and I would look like, bam, it wouldn't take almost anything at all. And now it's like, I'm working out anybody tried to do the same workout you used today and they're not working anymore? Right? Thank you. So what is the solution to that? The solution is twofold. It's to do dietary recommendations. So number one, we increase human growth hormone, and we decrease insulin and increase sensitivity to it so that we're actually building lean muscle, we're leaning up regularly, but also so you're changing your hormone pattern. Here's the other thing. We really want to start working out in a way that works good. Now, here's the thing. The type of workouts and exercise that I'm going to give you now, it's not that it doesn't work as good for people under the age of 30 or 40. It just works better in general for everybody, but especially if you're over 30, 40 years old, this is what you want to do. Here's the thing. For me, I used to marathon, and I could do marathons and stay really lean, and I did have six-pack abs. That's how I got her. Thank you very much. So I'm prophetically calling a comeback too, by the way. But the point is, I thought to myself, I'd get to a point, anybody got to that point last year or whatever else, you're like, I really need to get back into shape like I used to be again. Anybody like that? And so I would just get fed up finally. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start marathoning again because it was what I used to do. And so you just try to go do what you used to do again. So I just started doing long distance running, and then I started doing my bro sets, and then I would be pumped up and swollen, but it wouldn't be lean, and then I'd go, and then I'd feel tired, and I just couldn't get back into the rhythm, and nothing was working. And so what you have to realize is if you're doing cardio, like long distance cardio, or for an hour or 45 minutes cardio stuff like this, it's not that it's bad. It still has a place, and it's still good. But if it's all you're doing, you might be finding yourself changing hormone patterns that will make it hard for you to get super duper lean and build muscle. Got it? And so this is the solution. You guys ready? Who wants the solution? So that solution is to power punch, increase, turn the switch on, and funnel your good hormones into this body and every piece of tissue that you have. The way that you do that is you cheat. You didn't think you'd hear that from me. But the hack is pretty simple. It's just that we're going to do the same amount of work, but we're going to do it in a short amount of time so that we hit this thing really hard and we create an epoch. Everybody say epoch. And it's not a rapper. That's somebody different. It's Tupac, and not epoch. But epoch is EPOC. It's excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. And this literally, anybody who knows anything about exercise physiology, it's what everybody's talking about. Who's heard of that before? You probably read it somewhere. If you've ever seen anything on the cutting edge of nutrition and weight loss and like bodybuilding and stuff, this is what everybody's using, especially those guys that are over 40. And so what it is you're trying to do the same amount of work that you do for your 45 minutes to an hour, whatever it was, workouts, pressing it down hard and tight in a short amount of time, and being so out of breath and so at a high level that when you're done with exercise, post-exercise, that's what that P is, that the excess oxygen consumption follows you around, which means I work out and it looks like this. Do you see that? Now, what I didn't show you was this. That's not what it looks like. I'm talking about you're about to wet yourself because you just worked out so hard, right? I don't know if that's sweat or pee. basically. That's kind of workout. And here's the crazy part. Most of you guys feel like if you're going to try this high-intensity interval training, which is what we call that, HIIT, and that's what Max T3 is all about, if you try that yourself, you yourself could actually even fool yourself to go, I totally killed that right there. And watch this. Let me come along, and now it's just me and you working out, and we're going to work out together. Do you think you might step it up? That is the level that I'm talking about. The reason that I go to CrossFit is because I want someone to push me. And when I literally have someone over me going, that's all you got? Come on. You got 30 more seconds. You got 30 more seconds. Come on, come on. And when I finish, there's a lot of times that I make sweat angels because I'm on my back looking like a fish you threw out of the tub. I'm like, trying to get breath. Right? And so that's what you're trying to achieve. So we're looking for epoch. Everybody say epoch. And I want you to be thinking about that. That's what you're trying to produce with exercise. That's what you're pressing into, because what happens is as soon as you create that oxygen demand, it signals every single cell in your body to go, and it pulls in all the release of hormones that are going to lean you up and make you burn fat for the next 36 to 48 hours. Can I get an amen? Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. I can sit at work and burn fat. I can go to sleep and burn fat. I can sit on my couch and burn fat. I can do nothing and burn fat. That is a hack. That's what I'm talking about, cheating. Yes or no? Right? So this is the crazy part, though. And I hate to win something that's bad, but we are the most inactive part of the country, period, in the United States. Did you see that? What this means is 30 to 35% of these red states don't do anything at all ever. The most exercise you get is walking from your car to wherever you're going. Now, think about that. That does not leave room for you being healthy. And here's the other thing. When you guys are living life and you're not active, what happens is your core starts to get bad and you start doing this. Like this. I know. You start doing this. Like that. And then you actually do you get a little old man butt like this. Like that. Like this. Like that. So you don't want that. My wife, I just lost the date night. But what you have to do is you have to push yourself. And here's the thing. You guys come in with stuff like this, and I try to adjust you, and then you're not going to go exercise and strengthen up so you stand back up again. What's beautiful is your body is fearfully and wonderfully made to move. It is a vehicle that your spirit lives in, that is a gift. And man, it's amazing. What's crazy is if you don't move it, it starts breaking down like that. But here's the gift. If you start moving, it comes back. It adapts. I don't care what age you are in. And here's the crazy part. I'm going to work every day trying to fix your spines and get you to do this. And some of you guys aren't doing anything else but laying on a table and doing a little bit of exercises when I can. And what happens is I'm adjusting you, and I have half of you guys go, or whatever, 1% of you guys, whatever the percentage is, go, I don't know if this chiropractic thing's working. Well, guess what? It works 100% of the time, every single time. You just have to put in the work to get your body to respond. Got it? Easy stuff. So trauma of sitting. Some of you guys saw the new research that came out in the last year that says that sitting is as or more detrimental to your health than smoking. I would rather you walk around all day at work smoking a cigarette than actually sitting all day. Now, if you could edit that off, actually, that would be good. But maybe not smoking, but the point is, if you look at somebody right now, we walk outside, who here walked through like a cloud coming in here today? I can't stand it. I try not to be judgmental, but I look at people smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, is there not enough research showing you that you're killing yourself right now? It's gross. It's nasty. It stinks. You stink with that smell like this. I'm like, I try not to be judgmental. I'm like, come on. Somebody's going to pay for that eventually. If you can't pay for your health care, I have to. And so the point is, it is unhealthy. But watch this. We look at people smoking and go, man, I just feel so sorry that they're stuck in that. But then when you look around and you see someone sitting for 8 hours today at a computer, do you look at it with the same eyes? Like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that person has to be like that. It's traumatic. Do you guys see that? So you guys are going to have to figure out some things in your life. Raise your hand if you do a lot of sitting. And again, no judgment, but there's a lot of us. We're at computers. We're doing that stuff. We have got to change that. So here's some solution. Here's that counter. Remember the wrestling stuff? Here's the counter. Get a sitting standing desk. Set an alarm on your watch or your cell phone or your computer. And about every 15 minutes, just stand up, do a little movement or something, and sit back down. I mean, I didn't say take a 15-minute break every 15 minutes, but if you just stood up, bent over, just moved around a little bit, you just get a little movement for your spine to get a breather and sit back down. Can you see how that would at least be easier, right? And when you can get up and move. Some of you guys can and choose not to because you got, you control freaks like me. Okay? Now, next, activity level. Who here has a job where you're actually moving a lot, where you're moving and grooving? I do, right? Some of you guys, I've had someone look at me before and go, how do you see all those patients? I'm like, how do you sit all day long? Right? I love moving. I'm so blessed to be moving through those adjustment rooms. I love it. I mean, I get down on one knee to do something with you guys, and I pop back up and I run around the other way. I mean, I just love moving all day. It's a blessing to me. Like, first of all, what is your activity level at work? And I want you to think about that yourself. So what is my activity level? On a scale of 1 to 10, am I moving? Okay, the next, do you have a sedentary job? Yes or no? Do you have a labor-intensive job? I would say mine probably is. I always get a kick when I get a new doctor who takes over a shift from me, and I see like 100. Like the first time my doctors will see 100 people in the office, I always get a call, or I see them next to me like, I don't know how you do that. That was crazy right there. It's like you just haven't adapted to it yet. Okay, but intensity. And do you have kids to play with? Like if you guys have young kids, you need to take advantage of that. I used to have my kids. I'd come home from work, and I wanted to have like a physical time, and we used to call it playing tiger. And so I would wrestle Zach until I chipped his tooth. Whatever. I'm still got to pay for that. Yeah. Dog, play with your dog too. Walking your dog. Yes, we have 2 dogs. Actually, they're for sale or free if you'd like them. But you could have to take those dogs out, walk them around. But like for my kids, I would grab Zoe, and I would take Zoe. She was like 40, 50 pounds, and I would use her as a sword. She had to stay straight like this, and I would fight Zach off, and I would throw her around, and then I would throw her on a couch, and I would tickle her, and then Zach would like grab me, and then the whole chip tooth thing kind of stopped it. But it was like we played hard, right? So there's stuff you can do. Guys got that? Some of you guys just want to sit and watch movies, and I'm very guilty of that too. One of our favorites, Zanae, what's our favorite thing? Starts with an S. There it is. She's like, I was eating grapes, Dad. I don't know what you're talking about. But I love to snuggle, which means if we're snuggling, we're probably doing what? We're sitting, we're watching TV. So make some decisions, especially this month and as you move forward, to do some things that are less sedentary. Got it? It's pretty simple stuff, okay? And you want to take that activity level from wherever you're at, and you want to add 3. Got it? From wherever you're at, you're going to add 3. And I want you to ask yourself specifically, how do I add 3? Okay? Exercise to build healthy habits. Here's the other thing, too. The reason that's so important is it's the quan. Remember the Jerry Maguire thing? It's the quan. If you guys are actually exercising more days than not, especially if you're doing it every day, what you're going to find is this is linked to weight loss. It's linked to increased energy, focus, feeling good when you wake up, having a more positive outlook on life, being less curmudgeous. Can I get an amen from a spouse? Maybe you don't want to say that next to your spouse. Amen. But having a better social attitude. I mean, listen, if you're a nicer person and more thoughtful, are you going to have more friends? I mean, this could change your life. And so healthy habits should be built in for a lot of reasons. But the benefits of exercise, and you guys already know this. Data we found out, and I found out the hard way over the last 21 years. I'm a data nerd. Any other data nerds, you just like the information, the studies? I literally look up at least 25 studies a week. My team is like, I can't believe you do that much research, but I just love it. It's like chocolate to me. And so the problem with it is, I get to work with you guys, I'm like, wow, I got a great study for you. This is going to change the world. It's awesome. And I give everybody, and guess what? Nobody's still exercising. So let me just say this. I'll put it out there, but what has to happen is you have to have that vision that gets you excited, okay? Now this increases endorphins. Now, guess what endorphins are? They're brain chemistry. That's all it is. Some of you guys know about runner's high. Yes? Runner's high? Raise your hand if you've actually had a runner's high before. Right? So when I was marathoning, I used to love it. It would take me about 5 miles to get it, but I loved it. I could go 20 miles after I got that runner's high. But guess what? You get it every time you move. When I was doing my push-ups last night, because I didn't get my workout in, it was my plan B, my setback plan, guess what? I still got endorphins moving. And guess what? It still changes things. So just know this. Every time you do anything, things get better. Got it? Okay? Next. Improves cardiovascular health. Can I get a duh? Hello? Cardiac efficiency. Actually, the studies have been proven, Dean Ornish proved it too, that 32% decrease in cardiovascular events if you will just do a little bit a day. 32. Now, how would you like to decrease your likelihood of a heart attack by 1/3? Right? Also, watch this. Dean Ornish, most famous cardiologist for reversing full-on cardiovascular disease, actually took people who had heart attacks who were like 99% blockage in their arteries, and he put them in exercise routines that were hardcore, like full-on sprints or whatever else. Do you hear what I'm saying? Which everybody said was what? It's crazy, it's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. And guess what he found? It was actually the opposite of that. Those people responded better than just like the you and me group. They literally changed their whole life. It was amazing, right? So don't listen to the crowd. Now, benefits: boost mood. Who wants to just feel better all the time, right? This is like a drug. It really is like a drug, and it doesn't take much to do it. And then here's a wonder: who wants to sleep better? Anybody? Increase better sleep, like 52%, just if you were doing something. Okay, and I think that should be a goal for everybody here. Actually, if you lose 30 minutes of sleep a day, or just one day, you decrease your insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. Which means what? You create more insulin, and then you produce more fat. Some of you guys, if you just started sleeping better, would lose weight, and there's actually studies that prove that, right? But it can be quick, high intensity interval training, but max T3 is everywhere, right? Listen, some of you guys are adrenally insufficient, got other issues. I had a lady one time that she would start to feel tired, and when she felt like at work, like at 10 o'clock and at 2 o'clock, when you feel like you need that caffeine hit or that carb snack, she would come away from her little deal and she would just speed run like this and just do crazy stuff. I mean, literally, and it was at her cubicle, so people were like this. Like that. Guess what? Lost a bunch of weight, got off all the caffeine, got her energy back, got her mojo back. And listen, you may seem crazy to the world, but listen, in the worst place to live in the world as far as health, be crazy, be a freak. Got it? And so when's the best time to exercise? Morning time is the best time to get hormones juiced as high as they'll go. But listen, here, my super self-critics, when's the second best time? Anytime during the day. You just get her done. Like last night, I think I finished my last push-ups at 11:45, right? And so you can do it anytime. Make sense? Can you do that? All right.
All right, guys, let's do some minimizing toxins. Okay. So one thing I think that's really important when we talk about this particular essential is to realize that your nerve system will protect itself at all costs. Did you hear that? So your nerve system will protect itself at all costs. When you breathe in toxins, or you take and swallow a toxin, or you smoke a toxin, however you expose yourself to a toxin, your nerve system will preserve itself. And how it preserves itself is by putting on what? Weight. So the more fat you have, sometimes it's because you have more what? Toxins. Okay? I'll give you myself for an example. This particular product here, I actually started taking this product 15 years ago when it first came out. And I had, Zoe, I had Zoe, and I was back in the gym. I was hitting it really hard. I actually had a trainer at the time. I mean, I was working out really hard, eating really good, and I could not get that last 10-ish pounds off. And I was very frustrated. Anybody feel like that sometimes? So I was very frustrated, and all I did was I started adding this particular product. I didn't do anything different. I added the detox system. And for me, because of the whole pregnancy and the delivery process and everything, I had been exposed to some toxins. And so when I started taking this product, I actually lost 1 pound every day for 10 and a half days. I lost 10 and a half pounds. Can you imagine losing 1 pound every day like that? That's what you do when you have toxins you don't need, and you just start doing this, and you start dumping off the toxic weight. Toxic fat comes off because the toxins go away. That's exactly what happens. When I lost the 10 and a half pounds, I didn't lose any more weight after that. I was exactly the weight that I needed to be. I was just getting faster, stronger. You know what I mean? That's really what was happening with me after that. And I had all the way, it was like Christmas shopping in my closet at that point, because I was able to fit in all my clothes again. So that's literally what I did with this for minimizing toxins. Now I'm going to go through some areas where we're actually exposing ourselves to toxins, but this is a huge one, right? Where do toxins come from? This is so frustrating and complicated, and this is the reason why it is so difficult to just shop right now. Grocery shopping. Anybody feel like it's frustrating to shop? And so this is the difficulty, because now, like, our job is to keep reading the labels and showing you, nope, don't do that. Try this. Look at that. Look at this new toxic ingredient. Oh, they labeled it something different. Like, we have to really be smart consumers and also be really good label readers. So you can see here, toxins are coming from all this chemical spray. The most toxic thing that they're putting herbicide-wise is called what? What's the most toxic? Roundup. And what's the main ingredient in Roundup? Glyphosate. So what they're saying is the World Health Organization said it may be cancerous. Maybe. There's quotes around it, right? So it may be, yet they're not stopping it. And they're putting all the farmers out of business because they're buying up all the fields and they're putting it on all the fields. So we have to go an extra step further. We have to watch for, this is where the genetically modified organisms comes in. This is where toxic stuff is sprayed on our crops. And so one of the things you want to make sure of is that you look at the Environmental Working Group puts out a list of the top toxic, they call it the Dirty Dozen every year. And those are the things that actually have sprayed the most chemicals on them. So you want to look at the 12 dirtiest vegetables and fruits and make sure you buy those organic, certified organic. And then the rest of them, if you buy conventional fruits and vegetables at that point, you want to make sure you wash them all. So I like to use, just put like a cap full of apple cider vinegar in the sink and just throw your vegetables in there and you can wash them up. Just make sure you're washing the stuff. Some of you I've heard are doing celery juice cleanses or different juice cleanses, and you're buying the cheap veggies, and then I do a test on you and I see major loads of toxins in you, and you say, yeah, but I've been juice fasting. Yeah, but what you've been fasting is a whole bunch of glyphosate. So be careful when you do that kind of stuff. You're trying to throw in, your motive is to put in a lot of vegetables. We just got to be careful because you actually could be putting in more toxins than you are anything else. Okay, so just be careful of that. I'm going to go through a list of the 22 toxins that you are exposed to. We hit the first one. You can see in the picture there like the toothpaste, right? So toothpaste kind of representing like toothpaste, personal care products, deodorant. I mean, we've got our friends in the back with all your lotions and deodorants and things like that. You've got Young Living in the back. Like, you want to make sure that that's part of your cabinet at home, and that you look at things like your toothpaste and make sure you don't have some of these toxins that are in them. And personal care products, the same thing. You can see the water bottles. You can see makeup. I know Young Living actually sells makeup now. We're going to have like a little ladies' party where we have you out and kind of show you how to put good makeup on, and it's going to be awesome. Good ladies' night. Yep. Now, the thing on the bottom middle that drives me the craziest, it's similar to Whataburger. I have the same reaction to the thing that you see on the bottom as I do Whataburger. What is that? Vaping. Okay, so we can put both of those and we can blow them straight off the planet, in my opinion, because all it is formaldehyde you're putting straight into your body. Do you guys know what formaldehyde, like what we usually use formaldehyde for? Embalming, right? So we actually, when we went to chiropractic school, we have a cadaver that a person donated their body, and we studied the body with this cadaver. It was a fantastic way of learning the human body. But they are actually in formaldehyde. The body is preserved in a tank that is full of formaldehyde. So when you walk in the room of the anatomy lab, what happens is your eyes immediately start burning, and your throat, your nose, it's like the hairs on your nose start to kind of feel like they're burning off. This is formaldehyde. Yet, guess what's super cool now? Mix it with vanilla or watermelon or strawberry or raspberry or whatever, and suddenly we've got this new cool fad called vaping. Yeah? Right? And guess what's also happening at all these little vape centers? Guess what they're set and ready for? Marijuana. Right? They're set and ready to target our kids in that area, which, again, may be used medicinally, but I'm telling you, these kids are not using it medicinally. Okay? That's not what's happening. Then the far right, you can see there is the actual alcohol. But let's go through this. So BPA, where are we seeing BPA in? And then your cans. So make sure that your canned goods are BPA free. Okay? Then look at lead. So where are we finding lead? We're finding it in water. So you want to get your water tested. That should be an action step. I made some lists right here. You guys should we'll come back over here and we'll add to this list of action steps, my body, my year action steps. But you want to get your lead tested. I know that Dorota was telling me that in Frisco they have a really high lead concentration. So you want to make sure you get your water tested. Next is the polychlorinated biphenyls, the chlorine. Where do we get chlorine? In our water, right? Or we're swimming in it, or we're bathing in it. It's in our swimming pool or in our bathtub. We're standing in the shower and we've got hot water. If we don't have a filter, right? Hot water does what to your blood vessels? Opens them up. So suddenly a 15-minute shower, you've actually drank a gallon of chlorine because it went straight into your brain. Okay? So this is another good action step as far as minimizing your toxins. Fluoride in what? Toothpaste. So in water as well too. So you want to get the non-fluoride stuff. Pay attention to that. Cyanide, they're finding that in some fruits and things. Okay? Formaldehyde, we hit that. I think I hit that. Did I kill that? Did we kill that really good? Is it dead completely? Okay. Parabens, that's going to be in your makeups, your pesticides, herbicides. We hit that. Steroids, antibiotics, mercury. Where are we getting antibiotics? We're eating it, aren't we? Richard just said it. We're eating it, right, from the cows, right? Because it's in their feed. Now, here's the thing. Cows were not meant to be actually, being milked 24 hours a day, right? Like, I'm sorry. I nurse my kids, but there's just no way. Like, that's not happening. Okay? So what they do to make sure they're producing a whole lot of milk is they throw the antibiotic in the feed, and that way they just eat their antibiotics, and they can just keep rotating them and milking them, right? It's cruel. So we're getting antibiotics that way. Mercury, again, is another thing. Where are we getting mercury from? Tuna. Where else? Vaccines, period. Like, that's it. And then we just said different water, yeah. What about silver fillings, right? So we want to make sure that should be another action step for us. Don't run out and get it taken out unless you talk to me first, because there's a safe way of doing it. But those are places where we're getting our mercury from. The other list, ethanol. Where are we getting ethanol from? Right? Nobody wants to say that. Sunset yellow, that's the stuff that's color, that's mixed in foods and things. High fructose corn syrup, that's another place where we're getting mercury, right? High fructose corn syrup. So looking at your package, checking for high fructose corn syrup, making sure they're hydrogenated fats and oils, that's actually another toxin. Copper, that's going to be in your pans. If you have cooking pans that have copper in them and you actually eat that, you need to talk to Salad Master back there, and they can show you how to test your pans. Because you eat that, you can get dementia and Alzheimer's and all kinds of things because that copper goes into your body. So you want to be careful of that. Arsenic, triclosan. Where do you get triclosan from? Now, didn't they put that in every school and every church and every daycare? So every time you go to the church daycare and you pump, right, the school, it's in the hallways everywhere, you put that on your hands, And your motive is to clean your hands, right? But there's triglycerin in that goes directly to your liver. Immediately, soaks immediately, because your liver's your skin's your largest organ. So you're putting triglycerin in there, which is a major liver toxin. So I would rather you go to Young Living and get their little hand sanitizers. You see them in our offices. Carry them in your purse. And then when somebody tries to offer you the other stuff, just go, no, try Young Living. Like, this is better for you. Or better yet, if it's your kids' classroom, buy the Young Living stuff and take it to your kids' classroom and, give them all the stuff needed so that they can have a non-toxic room. That's another good step. Phthalates. Where are phthalates from? Plastics. So the cheese that we just saw a minute ago, phthalates. These are all things that cause you to raise your estrogen levels in an unhealthy way. Xenoestrogens. Say xenoestrogen. Xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens are your body, it mimics estrogen. Xenoestrogens, you get them from all these toxins, xenoestrogens. So suddenly we're putting on a lot of estrogen, and if we put on a lot of estrogen, we're going to put a lot of what on? Weight. And what's a disease that we can stimulate in women? Breast cancer. See, we can actually be just helping ourselves from fighting cancer just by removing all these toxic chemicals. So phthalates, that means that in Texas, you don't want to leave a plastic water bottle in your car. Why? Because the heat is going to heat up the plastic. And you guys have done this. Everyone in this room has done this. You've gotten in your car, you were thirsty, that water bottle's been there for a week and a half, you drink it and you go, ooh. Have you done that? And you're like, what is that? The water is fine. It's the plastic went into the water. Now it's not fine. Right? So that's phthalates. You want to stay away from that. You want to make sure that you're not heating up your food in plastic containers. Right? So hot food, put that in like a glass container. Let it cool off. Put that in the refrigerator. Don't put anything hot in plastic containers, because that's just going to seep get into your body when you eat it. And then perchlorate. Where is that from? Perk. Everybody heard of Perk? Perk-free dry cleaner. So it's the chemical that they put on clothes when they dry clean them. You ever have where you kind of smell the stuff that comes off? They say if you don't have a perk-free dry cleaner, we used to have one in Coppell. They're gone now. But perk-free, if you can find a perk-free dry cleaner, that's the best, because they don't put those chemicals on there. And what it affects the most is your lungs. You get skin tags too. That's right. So you put the dry cleaning clothes on, and you wonder why right around your collar you're starting to get those weird little skin tags. That's that chemical that's on your dry cleaning clothes. Okay, perk-free. Look for that. And then dioxins, again, another cancer ingredient that's found in like pretty much everything. Anybody have ideas of where they're getting dioxins from? Like bug sprays and stuff like that. Like your dioxins are in pretty much everything. So, everybody, did you get that list? So 22 toxins that you are exposed to. Literally, you can radically change your life just by eliminating these toxins in your body. You can lose weight just by eliminating these toxins in your body. Know what's in your food and know what's on it. I kind of killed this one, and so did Dr. David, right? I mean, it's kind of obvious. We're not judging anybody. In fact, I think some of you here need to put this as one of your goals, like one of your SMART goals. If you're dipping, I promise you, all you have to do is come see me and get a thermography done. If you're dipping, everybody know what dipping is, right? If you're dipping, come and get a thermography done. And I've just done recently 3 guys. Interesting, I did their full body thermography. It's a scan, so we have those in the back of the room, the thermography tables in the back if you want to know more about thermography. But it's a full body scan, so I can actually check how all of your organs are working. And I can see if your prostate's working. I can see if your liver is working. I can see how healthy all this stuff is. Well, the last 3 guys that I had actually get tested, do the thermography, I checked on their scan, it tests your teeth as well, and I can actually see several spots, like right up here in the front, that were seriously toxic. And I'm like, what's going on, like right here, on these teeth right here? And of course, that's where the dip goes, right? Right here. Guess what was in common for all three of them? They all had prostate. And they were all having problems in that area, symptom-wise. And they didn't correlate the prostate, the erectile dysfunction, the low sexual desire, like all of that. That was from the dipping. So initially what happens is you get a rush when you first do it, right? For those of you who have ever done it, you initially kind of feel a little bit buzzed. But once that buzz kind of wears off, it's actually destroying your male function. It's destroying your hormones. So this should be a very important goal for those of you who've done that or are doing it, to be moving in the direction of getting rid of that stuff, okay? So that, and then, I already killed vaping, so we don't need to, that and Whataburger's over there on that side. I'll stomp on that one too. And then the next one's alcohol. Gosh, I know, I'm sorry, I'm the bearer of bad news here, okay? But for some of you, I have had people come in to see me and they're like, I can't lose weight. I'm following your advanced plan. I'm doing everything you say, and it's not working. Yet every night we're having 2 or 3 beers or 2 or 3 glasses of wine. It's even a healthier wine, because wine is sugar, right? And so is alcohol sugar. So when should you have it? Maybe after you've healed or overcome whatever it is that you're on the advanced plan that you chose to do, right? So start, have your alcohol and do the healthier versions of wine, the pesticide-free, the no chemicals, which Women, Wine, and Wellness will show you that. But making sure that you're decreasing this, because this may be for some of you the reason, like this could be the reason why you're not losing weight or really keeping you unhealthy, is the alcohol area. So enough said in that area. How to minimize toxins. So this is, I'm going to give you guys a list of how to minimize toxins, a couple things. What did we hit already? How to minimize toxins. The first thing is one thing I told you guys about is the detox system, right? So that would be one area to minimize toxins. What about just removing the source, right? Removing the source of the toxins. There's actually a place that you can check your air quality. So if you're looking at going to different places, like if you travel a lot, you can actually go to a website called Air Now and Air Compare. And that actually checks the outdoor quality of air, which will let you know whether it's, safe for you if you end up having like an asthma or lung issue for you to be outside doing things. So Air Now and Air Compare. I checked Dallas, and in 2017, we had 7 unhealthy days for asthma or lung disease patients. So I thought, really? I thought it would be higher than that. But I think this is a good place to kind of go reference. Where else to get rid of toxins? What about your fish? What kind of fish should we choose? Since we just had a couple people say fish is a source of these toxins. What should we choose? Anybody? Wild caught. From what ocean? Pacific. And we can also do Alaskan, right? So, and then what else about the fish? Small fish like anchovies and sardines. Just watching the mercury. Like if you're going to buy them in a can, just make sure it's BPA free and you're just looking for the source of where you're getting this stuff from, okay? Be mindful of your jewelry, okay? Why? Because it could have what? Could have lead. If you have the jewelry that you notice that you turn colors, what is that? It's something to be hung in the closet to look at, but not to put on, right? Sorry, you don't do that. Watch your household products, your antiques, the items from other countries that have lead in them, okay? Anything that came from China, like if you bought things from China, just be careful, because you could be heating up something on a plate that came from China, and every time you eat, it's just going in your food, okay? So you got to watch that. Obviously, we hit the high-quality foods. Avoid the alcohol. Hey, what's some other things you could drink besides alcohol? What are some other things? We said water. We said Zevia. Coffee that is what? Organic, like what our friends back there have the coffee. What's the company? Revital You. So that would be a source where you can get that. What about green tea? Green tea is another thing that you can consume as well. So green tea, Shannon brought me some green tea a little while ago. I love you, Shannon. Thank you. So green tea, that's another really good source. And then your protein shakes, your Max Living protein shakes. You can do plant, whey, bone broth. I love the bone broth. Have you guys tried the bone broth? Oh my gosh. That's some good stuff right there. That's very filling. Okay. If your house was built before 1978, make sure you inspect it for lead, the paint, and then get it removed, because that's another source where you may be getting lead from, okay? For those of you who are smoking, commit to quitting smoking. Put that on your list. If you're vaping, if you're dipping, put it on your list. Just come see me for a thermography, and you will be convinced to do it. Have your water checked for toxins like lead and medications are in your water. Get your water checked. Chlorine, yes. And mold, huge. I've talked to a few of you actually at break about mold. So mold is just nasty. Again, mold is a live toxin, right? So it's alive, and mold puts off spores. Spores, that's the kind of stuff that gets up into your ventilation, and you have the mold in one room, but then suddenly it's all around your house. Because your air conditioning and your heat, it sucks it up, sends it everywhere. So you want to make sure you check for your sources of mold in your house. That would be where you might have an air conditioning that's leaked, or maybe a pipe that's leaked underneath your sink, right? Checking around where you see mold growing in your house. And then I like thieves, like from Young Living. I keep a spray bottle with thieves in it in my house, actually all over my house, several spray bottles. And I just spray using that thieves, and that's a safe, non-toxic way of killing mold if you have it. Rather than bleach. Like, don't do bleach. Don't put one toxin on another toxin. Like, do something like Young Living. So, and again, mold is actually one of those things that gets in your lungs, and it really can cause some serious devastation for people. Yeah. Yes, exactly. We like Mountain Spring Air, the beds. Like if you go to our Herb Family Wellness website and you click on the store, Mountain Air is one of our resources. They have the only company that I know of that have non-toxic mattresses. Whatever, they have all the ingredients in there, what they do, they're organic. It's organic material, and they show you their process of how they make it. I have 4 of those beds in my house. And when guests come, they don't want to leave because that bed is comfy. They really like it. So mattresses, it's Mountain. If you go to my website, because I'm not saying it properly, go to herbfamilywellness.com, click on the store, and the mattress company is on there. I'm not saying it correctly, so I don't want to mess it up for you guys. Yeah. And there's a lot of places you can have your water checked from. Like the city will do it. Sometimes the city will come out and do it, depending on how bad things are. They do lie. They do lie. Did you hear that? They lie. So it's better to have an independent done. They do. You can probably buy little kits. I think they sell them on Amazon. I know that you can check mold. They have a mold testing kit at Costco. The last I heard, they had a little mold testing kit at Costco, so you can actually test for mold in your house that way. Because places do lie about that too. You know, especially if you're in an apartment complex, there's mold. The apartment complex tests it. Their motivation is to not clean it up. They say you're crazy. It's all in your head. And anyway, that's a whole other rabbit trail. So, yeah. All right, let me see what else. Look for methylparaben. Anything on the back of a personal care product that has the word paraben in it, methyl, ethyl, propyl, butyl, isobutyl, paraben, those are all parabens. And those ingredients, you need to remove them from your bath and your personal care products. So I think that's it. It's time for Dr. David to talk to you guys a little bit more. Was that good? Did it help you?
And also, Virginia said her company does water testing. What's it called? Rain Soft. Stand up. Just give me a queen wave.
Say it again. What is it?
Rain Soft.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Say what you do again. Yay. I love you. Thank you. Awesome.
Perfect.
So good. All right, awesome.
Round of applause for Dr. Kimberly. Good. Okay. Everybody say biopsychology. Again, indulge me a little nerdness right now. But it's a new field of study, relatively new, and it's the study of how your brain affects your behavior. You go, duh, yeah, it affects your behavior. But I'm not talking about your feelings like I'm angry today, so it's going to affect my behavior. What I'm saying is your organic, the tissue of your brain, like the tissue of your pinky, like the tissue of a tooth, if it's a cavity or something, the brain, the health of the tissue changes and your behavior changes. Does that make sense? So like the parietal lobe, it interprets tactile sensation. Your temporal lobe, it takes in and interprets your auditory stuff. Your occipital lobe interprets your visual stimulus. We in our neurology diplomate and certification, we actually had a case of a guy who looked relatively normal, but he had some brain pathology, and he literally, when he saw his wife, his occipital cortex, it actually brought the information in, and when he saw his wife, he recognized her as a hat. And so his case was the man who recognized his wife as a hat. Remember that? And so what I'm saying is, as weird as that sounds, it sounds completely weird, right, to see your wife as a hat? But guess what? I might say something to you, and you take it completely, or even just a slight percentage of what I didn't mean. And so what I'm saying is, your entire world is framed by what you see, what you think you see, what you think you hear, what you think you smell, what you think you felt, It's all about your brain. Does it make sense? It's all about your brain. And this brain is absolutely amazing. Do you know it has more memory banks than 100 lifetimes in it? If all you did was learn constantly, just input constantly in there, you have 100 lifetimes. Like right now, in about 6 months, you're going to need a new phone. Do you know why? Because there's not enough memory in your phone. But your brain is amazing, but you've got to understand how to keep it healthy. And there's easy ways to keep it healthy. This is where we're talking about the core chiropractic component right here. Now again, when we started the break and you saw all those testimonies, most of the time I say chiropractic, and most people think what? Neck pain, back pain, headaches, right? And I'll go if I ever having those problems and it's bad enough, right? And so who here that are patients in the office have talked to friends and family and you go, man, you have got to live a chiropractic lifestyle, free up nerve interference, get healthy, stay healthy by getting adjusted, and people look at you like you got 3 heads. Come on, can I get some of my missionaries in? You're like, what? I don't understand. It's like, again, not to go preachy, but it's like giving Jesus to people, and people are like, yeah, I'm not sure about that, right? But it's like, you spend all day long seeing results. It's very simple. So raise your hand if you're a guest. I want to raise your hand. I want to see my guests. So here's the thing. If you've been to a chiropractor, you have had something different than what we give, most likely. Most people go to the chiropractor, they get some big crunch left, right, all these different adjustments, and you got some kind of physical therapy. It was all about symptom relief. And what we do is something very different. And I try to get up here every time we do a big seminar like this and describe it, and I find myself short. But it says a picture is 1,000 words. If a picture is 1,000 words, then a video is 100 million words. And so I want to invite you into an adjustment room. Can I do that? I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I'm going to show you an adjustment, if I can, maybe, here in our office.
All right, so today I'm going to show you an adjustment on Mrs. Brown. And it's the secret really to her getting her health back when she's been dealing with Sjögren's, right?
Yeah.
So it's an autoimmunity where your body's immune system attacks glands and things. And this was very specific and exacting for her in completely reversing. Would you say that?
Yes,
Yeah, so,
definitely.
So you'll watch the adjustment. I'm going to adjust her spine, and it's pretty quick. And it's one area, but it's fairly light. It doesn't hurt, right?
No, it does not hurt. It feels
So
good.
right here, just to the side, real quick.
Oh,
Like
yes.
that, and then come on up. We're going to go this way, and then we're going to do 2 things. I'm going to have her turn this way, lean on me, and
That was a
then
good one.
go here. And what we're going to do with this archer stem is it beats at 6 beats per second, and we're going to open up the nerve supply very, very specific. So it's not a general movement. It's specific where she's got pressure choking off the nerve supply, keeping her from healing 100%. And that not only is allowing your spine to heal and maintain itself for a lifetime, but now the nerve supply, when it's uninterfered with, can now create a proper immune response, reverse the disease that, how long did they say you were going to have that?
Forever. There's no cure.
Would it be safe to say that you've enjoyed your care?
Absolutely, it's changed my life.
Anyway, give me a hug.
I love you.
Me too. Good.
I love her. So, yeah, that's good. You got her. And listen, but watch this. How did an irreversible autoimmune disease go away? It's because I'm a good chiropractor? Listen to me. Let me be very clear and transparent. I have no idea how to heal an autoimmune disease. And just as much as I don't know how to heal a back. I just know one thing. If your body is healing at 100%, now it has the chance to do that. Does that make sense? It's a whole different concept. But can you see how it's not just rack 'em, crack 'em, crack your bones and all that stuff? Do you see how it's just such a misnomer? I have people going to places where they don't even take an x-ray, and you pay like a little cheapy fee, and someone comes in there and jumps on your back, and they're like, I tried chiropractic, it didn't work. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. Right? But this is very simple. And it's scientific. If you look at how the body is set up, fearfully and wonderfully made, you're going to look at every single level goes to something, right? In fact, actually, I was the nerd, surprise enough. I was the nerd that helped in that cadaver lab that she discussed, and I helped teach that cadaver lab. And what's interesting, when you open, not to get too gross and descriptive, but when you open up a cadaver and you see the spine, if you have a spine, like imagine these two vertebrae, and they're just broken down and rotting like a cavity, and they got all these bone spurs. If you look at the nerves that come off of them, the nerves look like they're dried out. They're thinner and then dried out, right? And you take another spine, and it's actually a big, thick, heavy shock absorber, healthy, thick disc in between it like this. And the bones are all nice, and they're in the right position. And you look at the nerve supply coming off of that, it's big and fat and juicy and like slick looking. And then if you go back, if you look at this one, and you follow that nerve that's kind of bumpy and dried out, it almost looks like it's dried out, it's tiny, and you follow it to the organ the tissue goes to, guess what the tissue in the organ looks like? It looks exactly like the nerve. It looks dried out and like a different color, and it doesn't look healthy at all. And you look at this one over here, and that big, thick, plump, shiny nerve goes into organs that are plump and not to get, but it's like a juicy, healthy organ like this. But now watch it. Here's the crazy part. You can have both of those in the same person. And here's the crazy part. Most people right now in this room, if you didn't start at birth, you have one part of your spine that looks similar to this or is heading this way, and you've got another parts of your spine that look like this. But nobody ever even thinks that there's an issue until when? Till they hurt. And watch this. Here's the crazy part. This movement that causes things to break down, we call this subluxation. Everybody say subluxation. It is, listen to me, I can, serious as a heart attack. It is the most understudied, under-talked about condition in the entire human experience. It is what will convince you that you're old. It will convince you had bad genes or bad luck. It'll give you a diagnosis that now you're a medical slave to the rest of your life. And the crazy part is, it is not irreversible most of the time. And here's the other crazy part. You don't even have to get it if you start when? Early enough. Does that make sense? It's so crazy. But here's the beautiful part. You ready for the wonderful part? There's actually warning signs that it's there and it's going. I mean, thank God for warning signs, right? I mean, thank God that your car has a light that comes on that says, check engine soon. But the point is, if you keep driving, guess what's going to happen eventually? It's going to break down. Now watch this. Again, no judgment on people taking medications. I don't want my kids to hurt. I don't want you to hurt. But when you take a medication and you don't fix a problem always gets what? Worse. And although your doctor, a loving person, maybe goes to your church, will think, I'm doing great for this patient. The problem with it is, if you have a problem that now is, quote, controlled chemically or whatever else, something else is falling out that you don't know about, right? And that's where these warning signs become so important. How much would it be worth to be able to see a warning sign and get a warning before you have colon cancer? You know, so like headaches. How amazing would it be to know before you had a stroke that left you unable to walk or move your face or your two arms? Anybody see anybody like this? How amazing would it be to be able to fix that before that happens? Well, do you know that if you have 3 headaches a week, that you're 300% more likely to have a stroke like that it either kills you or it maims you? And yeah, people go, well, I just have some headaches. It's no big deal. And we can go into all those things. Headaches, head forward posture like this. Does that make sense? It's simple, it's easy stuff, but most people don't understand. Can I explain it? I want to use an example. So I talked to some of you guys. Come up here, I want to use you as an example. If I get somebody, I want to move this thing up here. I'm going to grab that in right there. So just like this, put this right in the middle here, like so. If you would grab a chair, or if somebody would grab a chair for my wife, like this. Maybe this will come up. Good. Watch this. This is going to be good. Good. Right on the end right there. It's good. And I want you to just put this about like that. And I want you to sit right there in that chair. You come up here, and I want you to grab that purse right there. And I want you to stand right there at the head of this. And then, where is my Carmen at? Carmen. There she is. Come here, baby girl. Come here. Can I get a round of applause for volunteers, please? This is just crazy. Now, one thing I did is I talked with Carmen early. Come on the stage. Come on this way. And I told her I was going to do one thing, and I'm changing it up on her. But the good news is your hardest job is you just have to lay down. So I want you to be careful with this. I'm going to hold on to it. So on your back, head right there. Good. Hardest job up on the stage today. Just like that. Good. Now let's just talk about you and your subluxations. Can we do that? Okay, so watch this. How does this happen? Well, let's just take the average lady, right? Raise your hand if you carry a purse. Come on, ladies. Carry a purse. Now, if I carry a purse, there's weight on that purse, and if I don't hold my shoulder, what? Up, it's going to what? Slide down. Anybody ever try to carry your purse on the wrong side? What happens to it? Slips. So if I carry a purse on the same side all the time, you'll develop a spine that does this, okay? Now, this part of the spine has places that it goes. In fact, this part right here goes to heart and lung, and you start getting down below that a little bit. If I create a curve right here, I'm going to put pressure on the nerves to go to breast tissue. Think that might be important, right? If I cut the nerve to an organ, what happens to it right now? Not today, but right now, it dies. If I put a little bit of pressure on an organ, now how does it die? It just dies slowly, right? Now watch this. This is how many women that you know. Yeah, most of them, right? Now let's just leave her right there, and if that's too heavy, take it off. Now let's go here. Nobody sleeps on big fluffy pillows here. Thank you for that. Right? So now watch. So she's going to lay on it. Actually, it's pretty comfortable, right? Right? Now watch this. Where's her head? She's like, please get me off this. But her head, where's her head? Like if she was standing up, what would she look like if she was standing? She'd look like this, right? Now if I train my head to be like this, everybody lean your head forward. Lean your head forward. Studies show right now if you lean your head forward, you put up to 40 to 60 pounds of pressure on your spinal cord stretching it. Which, by the way, what is one activity you do every day that does that? Looking at your phone. So everybody here, here's a good thing. Use the elbow rule. So you're not going to be able to use your phone unless your elbows are touching your abdomen and it's up here. Got it? Everybody got that? Write that down. $1 million check. Now this here will create head forward posture. Now watch this. She doesn't know this. Maybe this doesn't hurt at all. So it hurt. Well, it used to not hurt. You hush. I can't leave her here if it hurts. The pillow hurts. So let's get the pillow off. Okay, so let's just. I'm not going to leave you there like that. And actually, let's do this. Scoot down towards your feet a little bit. Now, we could use this. Now, if you are in the office, you know what this is. This will help hold a curve in her spine like that. Is that a little better? Don't go to sleep. So, but before her head was forward, now watch. Your spinal cord is one big thing, right? It's not like it's disconnected. You have one spinal cord here, one spinal cord here, and one spinal cord here. It's all one thing. So I push it forward here and I stretch it. It's going to affect low back, yes or no? Yes. So now if she has any postural distortions in her pelvis like this, it's going to create a short leg on one side, which is why we check leg length and those things. Now, she didn't have any back pain. She didn't have any neck pain, but she's going to walk like she's going to move around. She's going to do her thing, right? Now, if she keeps this off, this head forward like this, and then choking pressure off the nerves, the discs, and the joints, eventually what's going to happen to her low back as well? It's going to hurt, and it's going to start breaking down, right? Now, does it start that before she feels it? Yes, let's just leave that. Now, go over here to Matt. Matt works. Raise your hand if you work and you sit a lot. Come on, raise your hand. Right? So I'm going to have Matt. He's going to sit. He's not going to have horrible posture, but listen, you sit a lot. Don't tell me you don't get tired from sitting, right? So when he sits, he's going to push his low back and sit up. Now sit up real good and straight. Now he's got a curve in his low back. I can put my hand, a fist in his low back. But now just kind of get tired and kind of scooch down a little bit, right? Now his low back just did this. See that? Now same thing for the neck. If I do this, I stretch the nerve supply, right? Now he doesn't hurt his back doesn't hurt at all. Maybe he's stiff if he sits too long. But what he's not thinking about, because his medical doctor didn't teach him, he went to a chiropractor, was just the guy that cracked his back and took his insurance. Nobody said anything about the nerves in his low back that go to his prostate. And women, I know you don't have a prostate, but you also have a female pelvic floor, yes or no, that goes to your bladder, that keeps your bladder strong so you don't cough or sneeze, or every time you have to cough or sneeze, you have to cross your legs. It also goes to your uterus and your ovaries, and it goes to your elimination, your colon, right? So, but guys, male function, prostate, all the rest. So he's not thinking about that. But also something, when you sit like this, it actually creates your head to go forward too, right? And if his monitor's off to the side a little bit, or if he was in an auto accident when he got hit and his head was turned a little bit, he set all this forward. And watch this. These nerves go to digestion, right? And so it goes to his stomach, goes to his esophagus. So all of a sudden, one day, he's never had really acid reflux before, but now he's got acid reflux. And what's his doctor telling him to do? Take Nexium, the purple pill. It'll help, right? So he starts taking Nexium, and it's better. So guess what? Medicine's a solution again. Praise God, medicine saves the world again. But now watch this. His head is still what? His back is still what? Her head is still what? Her pelvis is still what? Off like this. Her shoulder is still high. Now watch this. Leave that there. What happens eventually? If you cut a nerve right now, what happens to the organ? If I put a little bit of pressure on the organ, it what? It dies slowly. But how it dies is how we medically, in this healthcare society, we diagnose your disease. If it dies with tumors, we call it. If it dies with ulcers in your colon, we call it. If it's, you see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going? That just has a diagnosis. Are there more diagnoses that can fill most books? Yes. And there are more every single year. We get creative on how we label things. So here we go. Let's just pray it up. Bow your heads. Father, thank you for today. Yes. Thank you, Father, for the opportunity that we come and we glorify you with learning and not just getting understanding, but taking action, which creates wisdom. And I ask God that what happened here today wasn't just for the people here, but it's for all those names that were written down. It was all for the families and friends and all the people that will see the example of those here. And as a result, the prayers of so many people who are praying right now for an answer, and the ones that haven't prayed yet, are going to be answered because we were all together and serve your purpose. So God, be glorified. Give us traveling mercies until we see each other again. Father, as we take small steps towards you, take great God-sized steps towards us in Jesus' name. Amen.